All right. Hi, everybody. Happy Thursday. I was just saying to Derek, it's 7 o'clock and time to rock.
Still means nothing.
Oh, it's an Elton John lyric.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. Derek actually went to an Elton John concert with me at Madison Square Garden when we still lived in New York City. And
was assaulted by a homeless man.
Oh yeah, afterwards, not at the concert. But it was so much fun. I don't know if any of you guys are Elton John fans, but we had a blast.
Hello, Brian and Stephanie.
Hi, everybody. I wanted to say hi to Darian, Germany Travel Personal Guide. Welcome. And Lori Sims, welcome to you. And Thomas Reiser. Always good to have Thomas on. And then Brian, and I don't know if Stephanie's there too. But yeah, Brian and Stephanie are big fans of Germany. So I feel like we maybe can talk a little bit about Germany here.
I can't talk about Germany. I've barely been to Germany.
But,
I can make some stuff up.
Definitely not going to be going to Germany in June, which is actually the topic at hand. But yeah, we can dive in.
Ryan Donahue, hello.
Hi, Ryan.
Katie Smith, welcome to you
Katie
as well.
Smith, and you skipped Alan A.
Sorry, I thought
to you.
You might have already said hi.
No, I didn't.
Hello, Alan A.
But I think we've caught up with everybody, so let us know.
Hello, Ruth. I assume Ruth is here as well.
And yeah, Katie, you definitely described it right. Itchy feet travelers, for sure. And hey, Megan Morris, cheers to you. Derek's opening up some wine for us.
Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah.
Which is a dry enough white that I can do. So very, very...
I'm excited. I haven't had anything to drink yet today. Derek already had a Truly when we were eating dinner. Holy
It's time for you to catch up.
That's too much. That's so much. What are you guys all drinking tonight? And cheers to all of you and to Derek. Let us know what you guys are drinking, if anything.
We just had
I know Thomas Reiser's
delightful dinner. She made some very nice salmon. It was quite tasty.
Oh, thank you. And Derek made the Brussels sprouts, so it was good. And we had Megan with us, and she seemed to enjoy it as well. And Derek also made for a snack today some homemade guacamole.
I did. It was very
pretty
tasty.
Awesome. Thomas is drinking Powerade Zero again. I think you said that last night too. I haven't had that one, but you've had several of the 0 calorie ones.
Yeah. They're good.
Yeah, they were great. Very refreshing too.
Megan Morris is having a high noon grapefruit seltzer, and Katie Smith is having rosé.
Killer.
Like a champ.
You guys, I was super jealous of Mark Finley's chocolate milk and Bailey's last night. I was like, that sounds amazing. And Darian's drinking a Gatorade Zero, so you guys can both cheers to each other, Thomas and Darian.
Brian Berkhammer having an Arnold Palmer. That's so southern of you, dude. But
You're really embracing that Atlanta.
Yeah. But staring longingly at our wine rack and resisting. Why would you resist, dude? Just go crack open a bottle.
So Germany Travel Personal Guide, that's Darian. It lives in Georgia, and Brian and Stephanie Berkhammer live in Georgia now. Both of you guys are new to the state, so you guys can bond over Georgia and Germany. But yeah, so
fun stuff.
Hope everybody's doing well. You guys all had a good week. I know we talked to several of you all last night on the Walters World Livestream too. But we've had a pretty good week here. The weather here has been incredible. And so we've been just trying to enjoy that as we can and get out of our house. We were supposed to go on a little day trip today and ended up backing out, but I think we are going to be doing that on Monday instead. So we can talk a little bit about that. And I also want to hear kind of the topic at hand is just going to be what everybody's up to in June and what travel looks like for all of you guys too. And we can talk about how all of the logistics are going to play out with travel this month. So let us know what you guys are planning, whether it's a day trip, weekend trip, anything. Cool. And hey, Nick Peterson, welcome to you.
Nick, welcome. Good to see you, bud.
Hope all's good. And yeah.
Darian's asking what part of Georgia Brian's in, but They're in the ATL, Atlanta.
Yeah, they just moved to Atlanta very recently.
So, so I guess we should kick it off with what our plans are.
Yeah.
So tell me, what are our plans? I'd love to know.
Oh, and hello. We have a new person on, too. So that's Noha Chilbab. I hope I've said that right. Do you like Yarrick? I don't even know what that is. Do you know what that is?
I do not.
Hi, Michael Mann. Welcome to you. Yeah, and the Berghammers are in Atlanta. And yeah, so they just moved in May, as did Darian, to Georgia. So I hope you guys are all settling in well.
Yeah. Okay, so Brian is saying that his June travel plans are calling Delta to get our points back for the flights to Germany that they had to cancel. Yeah, it's a bummer.
I feel like a lot of those airlines are giving back points pretty easily. You just maybe have to pay for the taxes or something like that you would have paid when you booked it. But when we flew back from Amsterdam in March, Derek was able to even get that money back just with the status that he has with American Airlines. So we were out nothing out of pocket, no points, no tax dollars either.
Yeah, I mean that's one reason why maybe throughout the summer, as we think about any sort of like flights and travel and stuff, we might end up doing maybe points and stuff like that, so that we can at least know that we can cancel if we have to and get them back. I'm lucky enough to have a status that even if I cancel it, they refund me everything. I don't have to pay like a rebooking fee or whatever that they might usually charge for people to get those points back. So we're lucky with that.
We are, and we were lucky in March when it was all happening too. And Noha's saying he's from Poland.
Cool.
Worth traveling to, which we actually disagree with you.
I would love to go to Poland.
Derek is part Polish too.
I love pierogi.
Yes, and there's a lot of Polish heritage where we live in Chicago. And even there's like a Polish American museum in our city. We have not been to it yet, and it's, I believe, still closed due to the coronavirus, but we're going to hopefully get to a lot of local museums that we haven't been to once they open this summer. It's
funny, when you can go to the museums, you don't, but when you can't, you're like, I really want to go. Why can't I go? It's so sad.
But, your family makes really good pierogies.
Yeah. And by, just mentioning that, hello, Darlene Zacarias. Hello, mother.
Oh, is she on too? I know that she said, hi, Darlene. I know she said she was joining, so it's fun to have her on.
Brian Berghammer, feed me all the patchki. Yes, the jelly donuts, or at least that's kind of what they're like. That's the big Fat Tuesday tradition here in Chicago, is all the patchkis at the Polish bakeries and
We were talking about going to Poland on one of the live streams like months ago now. I think this group was all talking about going to Gdansk specifically, and how it's a really beautiful city and very underrated. Hi, Scorpio Sue, welcome.
Scorpio Sue, how you doing? Nice to have you here. Michael, I don't know if we said hi to Michael Mon. Hello, Michael Mon.
I believe I did. Yes, welcome, Michael. So back to the topic at hand. I know that it's still just like 7:09 and there's people joining, so we won't go too fast and breeze through it, but we wanted to just hear from all of you guys if I know that Nick's saying that he doesn't have any June travel plans, but like,
what
if
about
you're
July?
Planning on going anywhere this month, whether it be something very local, just to go exploring, or further away. We were considering doing a quick day trip out to Fullersburg Woods in the Chicago suburbs, specifically an area that I grew up very close to, and it's got a museum there called Growy Mill, and that museum is a very old, like 1800s mill that still works, and they bring like a lot of school groups too and everything like that.
It's like on a creek, so it's like a water wheel.
It's on something called Salt Creek, but it is actually so big, it's kind of at that point a lot more like a river. And it's really cool because they do a lot of like nature tours in that area too, because there's beaver dams and a lot of nature trails. But then this mill in particular is beautiful, perfectly like restored and everything like that. And you can tour it and learn about the guy, Mr. Growy, who used to run the mill, and then also he was part of the Underground Railroad. And so in a portion of the mill, there's the museum has a dedicated area to learn about the Underground Railroad in that particular section of Illinois. So,
and for those who are not from the United States, like Malcolm and whatnot, the Underground Railroad is, a part of American history.
Malcolm.
Where a number of abolitionists, along the route to Canada would help freed slaves, or not freed, but escaped slaves reach freedom.
They would house.
They would help house
slaves,
them and whatnot to reach freedom. So, for those who don't know.
Yeah, and I know we were talking with a bunch of people in this group last night too about another place in Indiana that featured. What is it, the Levi Coffin House?
Yeah, it's the Levi Coffin House, which is down in Richmond, Indiana. It's on the eastern border, kind of southeastern border of Indiana. And it was funny because when I saw that name, I was like, I've got some coffins in my family. I'll take a look. So I looked it up on, I've done some ancestry stuff, and I was looking it up, and I'm like, he was from Guilford, North Carolina. My family's from Guilford, North Carolina. He was a Quaker. My family was Quakers.
And then I go back, up his ancestry
and it's tree. Like Levi was like my great something grandfather's cousin, basically. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat.
So we've got a lot of those types of museums that we want to hit up just around the Chicago area. Just learning about the history of the local area and everything like that once they're open. Growy Mill should be open. It seems like we're probably going to now go Monday or Tuesday of next week. We're very lucky because the weather here is like supposed to be beautiful for the next few days, so we'll probably do that. There's also a chance that we'll be going back to Indiana Dunes State Park and National Park area over in Indiana very soon. Then we're also looking at a state park here in Illinois that's pretty well known called Starved Rock, and that has incredible Native American history there. And it's really cool hiking too, and just great for photography. So we're looking more at those day trips right now, and likely going to do several next week. And then potentially also going to be kind of looking at what there is to do within a general close range to the Chicago area. And start to dip our toes into more longer term travel, whether that be an overnight or not. So we'll see.
Bum, bum, bum.
But yeah, hi Galvant and gals, welcome to you guys too. Sorry that I missed you before.
Personally, I'd love to make it out to Utah somehow, but that's a little bit more than an overnight. So hence my Moab Utah shirt.
We were talking about Moab last night too, I think a little bit.
Yeah, no, Moab's great. But I'd love to go there because I've got some family down in like the southern part. We have a very good friend in Salt Lake City, and so it'd be kind of cool to go there because then we could hang out with some people and have some fun. So
yeah, Katie Smith says you have a very cool family history, and I feel like we talk about Derek's family history as like he's literally everything.
I am everything. I am.
He's done so much research.
I did the 23andMe thing. Spit into a cup and it came back like they light up like the parts of the globe that your family comes from, different colors based on different ethnic backgrounds, and for me literally the entire map just lights up with the exception of I'm not Aboriginal Australian, I'm not Indian, and I'm not like basically just north of India, like that
section
stretch.
Of like the middle part of Asia.
But yeah, everything else is like China, North America, South America, all of Africa's lit up.
Yeah.
Like it's all of Europe. It's great.
You're definitely more than like. I feel like a lot of people get back that they have trace heritage for certain places, but you're like more than trace heritage for a lot of it. So it's interesting.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. But my family's also from like southern Italy as well, so like there's a lot of different things that went through like southern Italy as well as through like Spain and that part of the world.
So Nick just got back his 23andMe, so he's gonna know what we mean when we say this. But he's asking any interesting DNA matches, and Derek's paternal haplogroup or whatever is from the Pacific Northwest. So even though he is Mexican in heritage,
well, it's because of that, right? It's because my paternal family kind of stretches back, native Mexican, and so obviously it goes back through, the human migration that came across the Bering Strait down through North America, etc. So there's one of these, prehistoric, human remains that they found basically, and they're able to show the
I think it's called the Ancient Man or something.
Yeah, that's just a name that they've
I was just
given
gonna
him,
look at.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But it's kind of fun.
It's
fun to do.
Derek's is way more fascinating than mine. Mine really resembled Nick's that he posted in the Facebook group.
It's just like Europe.
It's like you're.
What were you, like 98% European?
I don't know. Like it was. I'm European.
Yeah.
So.
But it's all cool. I mean, Europe's awesome.
Yeah.
We love going.
I was a little bit salty because it didn't say that I was Dutch, and I'm like, I'm Dutch.
But your mom showed up as Dutch, and she showed up as your mom.
My mom did it
so
too.
okay.
My mom did the 23andMe too, and she gets to be Dutch, and I get to be 50% of her DNA. So I don't really know.
I mean, I would say that ancestry stuff is kind of cool, and it can make travel, very unique and interesting. I think that some people talk about where should you go to first when you travel the world, and I think this is something, Mark, that you've mentioned before. But if you can travel to a place that has a familial tie, so somewhere that your family comes from, it can be even more meaningful because you can see things that you're like, oh, that's why my family does this, or like, oh, those people remind me of my grandmother or whatever, right?
Yeah.
When we went to Amsterdam, given the fact that Eliz's grandfather actually grew up in Amsterdam, it was kind of interesting because I remember her saying, like, wow, like, it's so weird being around so many people that remind me of my grandfather, her opa, and, just their speech patterns sound a lot like him.
And Mark just said that Jocelyn's saying that siblings can have different DNA stuff, and that is 100% true. So my mom, all 4 of them, my mom has 3 siblings, did 23andMe, and they all have different percentages, and especially one of her sisters, it swings like within 10 percentage points from the others. So it's fascinating.
Because you can inherit different proportions of the DNA and whatnot. Because like for instance, when you have your family also do the DNA stuff, you can see kind of your parents and grandparents and stuff. If they do it, you can see how much of their DNA you kind of inherited. So like for my grandfather from Mexico, I actually inherited like 30-something% of his DNA. So you can kind of see like,
and
I over-indexed towards 30% that side of the family.
30% of your Polish grandfather's DNA.
Yeah, so I guess that, there we go.
He's definitely leaning towards the male genes.
I guess might make sense because of the chromosomes.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, neither of his siblings have done it, so we can't speak to that in terms of what Jocelyn was saying for your stuff. But yeah, so
yeah, I am the melting pot, Mark. Yeah. That is true.
Which is so cool. Like his is fun to look at for sure.
They're all fun. But yeah, no. But what I was just getting to is when you trace your family back to like for instance, to like Ireland or Scotland and whatnot, it just makes going there feel so much more special.
Totally. So. We have to go back to Scotland so I can go to the Armstrong clan museum. So
all those troublemakers.
We've both been to Scotland twice, and neither time did we either of us ever go to where our Scottish relatives are from.
That's not true.
Well, we went to Glasgow, yeah.
My family lived in
but
Glasgow.
Like. Most of your family is originally from Ayrshire, and
Ayrshire,
my family is from the border. So, yeah, we got to go back.
Her family were a bunch of rough and ready, rabble-rousers who like to create
defending
fights.
we were defending the border.
Depends.
And that's basically what the entire Clan Armstrong Museum, I guess, is about. Like, all the border wars.
Yeah. I'm assuming that they probably were on different sides of the fight depending on the time.
Yeah.
Well.
I'm sure.
Probably sometimes they were like fighting for Scotland, sometimes for the English, because it was like where they were.
I don't know. We gotta go to the museum.
All over the place.
If anyone's on right now who's from Scotland and has been to the Clan Armstrong Museum, let me know.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Scorpio Sue was asking us when we're gonna go to Starved Rock. Oh no, Scorpio Sue said Starved Rock is so pretty, love the waterfalls,
Yeah.
and yes,
especially if it's rained, it's supposed to be
Have
really
you
nice.
been?
No,
Okay, so I went with.
I've seen pictures.
Yeah, I went 2 years ago with another friend of mine as a day trip, and it didn't, like, the canyons didn't really have a lot of water in them, but because it's been raining a lot over the past, well, first of all, year, because we have a very high water situation right now in the Great Lakes area generally, but over the past month it's rained a lot too. I'm hoping that there are waterfalls and there's going to be water in the canyon. But Mark, I believe, sorry, I'm kind of skipping around. Yeah, so Walter's was asking when we are going to go. Most likely next week, probably Monday or Tuesday, based on what the weather looks like. So let us know if you guys want to meet us there.
Yeah,
if anybody wants to meet us there, we're gonna head over.
And I don't think we said hi, but Malcolm, if you're still on, hello, Malcolm Hogan.
Hi, Malcolm. Thanks for joining. By the way, it's like super early in New Zealand, so major props to you for joining. Thank you. Oh no,
it's like midday, right?
Midday in New Zealand,
midday.
Lunchtime. Sorry.
But thank you for joining us from the bottom of the world.
Yes.
From the bottom of our hearts, thank you.
We're drinking a Sauvignon Blanc in your honor.
Yeah. Well, this one's from California,
Yeah,
but it's fine.
It's not from New Zealand, but we didn't have to tell him that.
All right, so Mark is saying, driving home from a German restaurant, we ate outside and it was wonderful. Hope everyone's doing well. So, yeah, and
I'm sure Jocelyn hated that, by the way.
Oh no, German food. Oh no, gravy and sausages.
We ate bratwurst last night.
Alright, so by the way, guys, I went to Costco.
Oh yeah, hot tip.
This is like the greatest haul I've ever had. I don't do food hauls, but like, I was super proud of this. I went to Costco.
We do food hauls, HALLS, but not hauls, HAULS.
Okay, yeah, sure. But I went to Costco and I was like, I had to like double take at the meat counter or at the meat, whatever the hell it is, and I was like, that price can't be right. And it was a 14-pack of bratwurst for $1.97. That's right, $1.97. Crazy. And then I looked at the expiration date, and it was like
Eliz,
2 days from now.
the cost per brat.
I was like, it's like 14 cents a brat. It's amazing. So I ended up buying 2 packs of that, freezing a bunch of them. We cooked a bunch of them, and then we froze what we didn't eat. So we've got brats for as long as we need them, basically.
And that's what happens when Jared goes to Costco by himself.
Hey, for $4.
Yeah, we can let it slide. It's fine.
$4 for 28 bratwurst.
But
awesome.
let's be clear, we will not be going to a German restaurant anytime soon because that restaurant's our house.
Yeah. Well, from in my perspective too, like I don't want to go to a German place if I can't have the pretzel and beer cheese.
That's true.
Oh, beer cheese, so good.
He can't have the pretzel on keto.
Yeah. No. All right. So sorry,
Mark. You'll have to tell us if you guys had a pretzel tonight.
Hopefully you had a pretzel with some beer cheese.
Yeah. What's that German restaurant that we really like in Lincoln Park? What's that called?
Prost.
If anyone goes to Chicago,
which Brian would know all about.
Yeah.
Prost. We actually went there. Well, the last time we went there was a long time ago, but it was probably a year and a half ago. We went there for St. Patty's Day, actually. At the very end of the night, we did like a whole like St. Patty's Day. Like we went to the Dine of the River Green like early in the morning. We then went to like multiple parties and bar crawls, and we ended it at a German like beer hall basically. And we're like just eating pretzels and beer cheese. It was awesome. It was a good time.
Your company has been really into like Oktoberfest and stuff too.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of German celebratory events in his life.
I love it. It's great. Gallivanting Gals is saying we're going to Indiana Dunes later in July, and also there's a lighthouse tour you can do up there that's only like a total of 2 hours.
That's neat. I would love to learn more about that, because I think right along the coast of Lake Michigan there, up into the state of Michigan too, there's like lighthouses basically at every town. And I don't think I've seen any of them. Like I'm trying to rack my brain.
But we haven't done much in Michigan.
I went to Saugatuck last summer with my family, and that area of Michigan is beautiful. But that's like
I want to do like Grand Rapids and like
from Chicago.
Yeah, there's like so much.
Grand Rapids is not on Lake Michigan, I don't think.
It's not far off of it.
But and there's supposed to be a lot of great breweries, like craft breweries and wine vineyards near Grand Rapids. And they like do brewery tours. I have a good friend, Jesse, from Grand Rapids, and he's like said, here's where you should go. Let me know when you're going to be there.
Well, yeah, and he's also talking about like, he told us where to go on Mackinac Island, and it's actually that one place that's like the historical, like, schwanky place where you can go get like a cocktail and...
like the big hotel. Apparently you have to pay, what's that hotel called? I've done so much research on Mackinac Island.
I don't know, but you have to pay a cover fee. It's literally
called like the Grand Hotel or something like that.
Yeah, you have to pay a cover fee to even get in.
Yeah. And then he said...
It's like $15 a head.
I think when he was texting me about it, he was saying, you have to pay $10 cover, and then it's like a $30 cocktail. So definitely go at sunset.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he was exaggerating.
Megan Morris is saying it's the Grand Hotel. Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay.
There we go.
Unless she was just echoing what I was saying.
Okay, so continuing down, Galvin and Gals, I have to spend more time on Ancestry. Yeah, I like Ancestry.com, not for the DNA tests. I actually really like
the DNA test actually kind of wasn't great. But we share an Ancestry.com login and do just family history on both the same login. Yeah. And that is a way to save money.
Yeah, because it's not cheap.
Nope.
If you want to pay for like the world access that gives you access to like all the different census records, like in, for instance, Scotland, the UK, etc. But it's a pretty powerful platform for anybody who's interested in it. And I think you can like sign up for free accounts, just put together like your family history based on, the knowledge of your different, ancestors, your mom, your dad, your grandparents.
And even if you're like not a married couple like we are, and you just have somebody else in your life who's interested in like learning about their ancestry, you can make multiple family trees. So you can, just like with a Netflix login, you can share an Ancestry.com login very easily. So hot tip.
Yeah. Okay, so when are we going to start to rock? Soon-ish?
Yeah. We're looking at... Okay, so I
want to find a time like right after it's supposed to rain.
So our friend/roommate, Megan, just told us that she might be able to do a vacation day next Friday and wants to do like a day trip with us next Friday. So if she's interested in going to Starved Rock, it might be next Friday, but I actually want to go there, preferably earlier in the week, because there's so many families and like it gets very crowded on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it's either going to be Monday or Tuesday or Friday of next week, depending on if she wants to come.
Yeah. So Thomas is saying I'm unable to get Ancestry done. So I don't know why, Thomas. I don't know if it's because of like medications that might throw things off.
And some people just don't know a lot about their family history. As well.
Yeah,
so I don't know
actually.
If Ancestry.com.
Yeah, but if it's about the DNA test, there might be some reason why. I don't know if it's medication wise or anything else. I do know that somebody who's connected to me, who's reached out to me in the past, actually is related to me somehow, like a third cousin or something like that, and he was adopted, and like there's this whole background where he just wants to kind of figure out his family history, and trying to help him a little bit with that and figure out what's going on there. So it's interesting to see. Okay, so Nick is saying...
He's just saying... Thomas says the saliva.
Oh, yeah, that's hard.
Yeah, that's tricky. And I hope that you can at least still do some research online if you're curious about it.
Yeah. Nick Peterson is saying, for sure, especially when I was able to sit in the same jail cell as an ancestor did in 1607, which is 412 years later.
Holy shnikes.
It makes travel that much more interesting. That's crazy.
That's so neat.
Hopefully he was in jail for a good reason.
I mean, like...
Not like hopefully he did something nice that was illegal?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's true. I feel like I should probably have said that first. But yes, knowing Nick, his relatives are probably not huge troublemakers.
Nick, did you get arrested
yeah,
while you were there?
He just found out.
You know, man.
It was like carved into the wall.
To my great-great-great-great-grandson. Which would be funny. But yeah, hopefully you didn't get in trouble. So Mark is saying, yes, saw so much of Germany in my hometown after I went to Germany. Also saw my grandfather's twin in Europe on a bus one day. Was dumbfounded when I saw him. That's funny.
Some scary stuff. So
like the doppelganger, I assume you mean, not an actual twin.
Our new roommate, Megan, I feel like I always have to say that preface because of Megan Morris on here. But she said her mom did a DNA test and her mom has an identical twin. Like a legitimate identical twin. So I don't know if he was joking or not with that, but
I'm sure. I think he was. I think it was more of a doppelganger.
Yeah, doppelganger.
Real quick though, because I'm seeing it on my feed, Richie and Vanessa Travel. Hello, welcome.
Oh, hi Richie and Vanessa, and then hi
Kim.
Bonnie, welcome to you.
Hello Bonnie.
Hey,
hello
Kim. And I don't know if Neil's with you, Kim, but hello to both the Yonkers out there.
Yeah. Okay, so Scorpio Sue was talking about...
Sorry if we've missed people. We'll say hi to you as we see you.
So you guys were talking about like restaurants being open and whatnot. So here in Chicago, the rule right now is that you can be open if you have an outdoor space. So some rooftop places are open right now, and also places that have either back patio seating or seating on the curb. So close to us, there's a place called like Lottie's, which has really nice curbside seating right now that's open.
And you guys would recognize it if you watch Chicago Fire. So the bar is a few blocks from our house, and
it's like the Chicago Fire
where,
bar. Basically.
So basically, the show Chicago Fire is filmed at this bar, and then it became so frequent that they were filming there that the show built a set to look exactly like the bar, so they wouldn't have to keep shutting it down. But they have all this outdoor seating now, and Derek and I like to go on walks around the neighborhood, and so we'll walk by, and even at lunchtime, there's people sitting out there enjoying, outdoor dining. So
yeah, we're
finally
really cool.
coming back here in Chicago, and I mentioned that on my Instagram post today.
Yeah.
It feels like we're finally out of hibernation a little bit here.
Yeah. So it's it's nice. So
hi Nick D, by the way.
Hey Nick, how you doing, bud?
We need all the Nicks. Where's Nick B?
All right, so Malcolm is saying that the Cliffs of Moher in Ireland is named after his family on his mom's side.
That's cool.
Pretty dope. Bunker Hill, that's one of my family ancestry things. Cool. Not as cool as the Cliffs of Moher, though.
No,
unfortunately.
That one's pretty epic. I mean, that is bragging rights, Malcolm. You need to be telling everybody that first thing.
That's like your two truths and a lie.
Yeah.
Katie Smith is saying, on my dad's side, we trace our family back to the American Revolution, fought in New Jersey. Oh, that's cool. Most of my family did not live in the United States during the Revolution, but that one side, the Coffin side, was here back then, and I guess
also
didn't necessarily fight in the war, but because they were Quakers, but they set up like a hospital in their barn, which makes them like a,
Derek's distantly related to Benjamin Franklin from that side of the family too.
He was a cousin. He was a cousin.
Kind of
like Levi. They were cousins. Yeah. Galvin and Gals is stuck on their great-great-grandfather in County Kerry. Can't find anything after him. Yeah, I get stuck in Ireland. There's a lot of issues with records being lost in Ireland. There were some fires and things like that. So my family, I guess, came from Ireland to Scotland, and then from Scotland to the United States, and so I kind of lose them in that migration from Ireland to Scotland, so we can't find them in Ireland.
And that's funny because my family is like the reverse, where we went from Scotland to Ireland and then Ireland to the United States. So like, for some reason, even though I was always taught that we were actually just Scottish, full stop, when my 23andMe and Ancestry DNA came back, it says that I'm Irish, which is new news. So, embracing St. Patrick's Day more than ever.
Lori Sims says, my great whatever created paddle boats. That's
that
cool.
Is, okay.
That's fun. Why
that
not?
tops the charts.
I
don't know.
That's cool.
Paddle boats and Cliffs of Moher those are pretty great. We have a good gathering tonight.
So a guy that I went to school with, him and his twin brother, they were Moher.
I've been, but Derek has not.
I've not. So these guys that I went to school with, their uncle, I think it was like an uncle, maybe it was a great uncle. It must have been a great uncle. Like invented soft serve ice cream or something like that. And so he was like super wealthy, and he like moved to Scotland or Ireland and bought a castle. And so like one summer, the two brothers like went there, and like they were like groundskeepers for the summer, and like they had to like. I remember them coming back and they're like, yeah, we had to like mow the moat, which I thought was like the funniest thing ever. Because the moat didn't have
any water in it anymore.
Well, like, I don't know. I guess you had to like go down and like.
I'm picturing it like if any of you guys have been to the Tower of London.
Eric Brown's here. Hello.
Hi, Eric Brown. Welcome. We're talking about ancestry stuff, even though we should be talking about June travel. So if anybody has June travel plans, let us know. And if anybody wants to go to, where are we going? Starved Rock or
Indiana Dunes.
Keep us posted.
Or Michigan, generally.
Or Michigan.
Probably the Mitt.
Michigan coast.
The Mitt. I don't know which way it goes. I'm not from Michigan.
We were kind of looking at Wisconsin stuff, but we haven't gotten that far down the Wisconsin path yet.
Scorpio Sue is Polish and says that her great-grandparents were from the same part of Poland, and they never knew it because Ellis Island said it was from different places, but it turns out it was just bad handwriting.
And if you look
That's actually kind of interesting because, if you look at the documents, you can be like, that's not what that said.
And so, like I said, I'm Dutch, and what's really interesting is the way that things are spelled in, like, every single handwritten document can be completely wrong or different. Or, like,
it's totally wrong.
My grandfather's name is, it could either be English name William or Dutch name Willem. And depending on who wrote it or like whatever he was feeling that day. Like the spaces in his last name versus not. It's interesting. It's hard to search for certain certain names in general like that.
Well, like some of them, like my great grandfather's Polish and couldn't read or write, so his marking on his like World War II draft card or whatever was like an X, right? It was because he couldn't write. And so on his papers and his family papers of like where they came from, he was born in Poland. It's like, is that the name of the place he's actually from? Because he had to just like say it to somebody and they had to write it down. It was probably somebody who's not Polish, and they probably wrote it down phonetically. And it's like trying to find that actual town, city, whatever it is, whether it's even part of Poland anymore, or maybe it's part of Russia, or
that's
wherever.
Another thing about Poland.
It's like,
oh my goodness,
it's traded hands so many times.
Yes. There's a really interesting YouTube video for anybody who's into European history. It's a time lapse of borders of different countries in Europe over time, and it starts in like, I don't know, around 1,000. And then it goes all the way to present day, and it's just fascinating to watch how different empires take over.
By the way, Scorpio Sue being Polish, if you are really interested in Polish history, I highly, highly, highly recommend check out the writings of Henryk Sienkiewicz, because he is like the nationalist Polish dude, basically, who wrote a lot of stuff at the turn of the 20th century, early 1900s. And he wrote a series of novels called the Trilogy, and it's like the most sold book in Poland, basically, behind the Bible, and which I mean, super Catholic, so I mean that's saying something. And it's pretty interesting. It's pretty cool stuff. And there's some like more modern translations. And it's it's a cool story about an interesting part of that history. And it was like the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, which was one of the dominant players in like Central European politics during that time. So that's pretty interesting stuff. So
Yeah.
highly recommend it.
High travel best destinations, and hello to anybody else we haven't gotten to yet. I'm like trying to. We're watching.
We've got to
on a
catch
different
up.
screen.
Yeah, we've been.
But welcome to everybody who's new. We're going to get
Hey!
you. We're going to call you out. We're super excited that you're on. But we are very behind, I think, right now. So
okay,
let's
so
catch up.
Galvin and gals. Okay, y'all. We just want to say hello on the way to dinner, but maybe check in later. It's not done by then. So
you guys look like you're having a great
enjoy
time.
dinner.
We're probably
have
way
a lot
past
of fun.
them leaving. But
I know, but if you watch
so
it
fun
again,
to have them join.
Fun. Thomas Reiser, I've been to a number of places where some of my ancestors came from. That's nice. That's really cool. Mm-hmm. And it's fun to see, even like,
it makes travel 1,000 times more meaningful and just impactful to you.
I mean, I remember even like, not even just like places that are, in Europe or some other country, right? It's not just that's meaningful, but like I remember going with my grandmother after I graduated from college. We drove to the small town outside of Terre Haute, Indiana that she's from. And, seeing that area where she's from and her being able to point down, like, down that road that we can no longer go down is the farmhouse that, I grew up on, basically. And it's, fallen into disrepair and, like, all this other stuff. But, like, going and seeing that and, like, driving around that, like, very small town and going to the cemetery where, like, you see, like, the headstones of, like, all the family members and stuff like that. Like, it's very meaningful. And to be able to have that experience.
To recognize those names and everything like that.
Well, not only that, but then like
so interesting.
I remember we were driving down the road and we like stopped at a
virtual
random
dinner
house
party,
because
welcome.
my grandmother was like, I know him.
Yeah.
And like we stopped and it was like this very old man who was probably in his 80s, and he had been like friends with her cousin or something like that, and they had like a whole conversation. It was like really. That was like really cool to see. So
his
that's pretty
grandmother's
cool.
turning 80 this year. It's so sweet.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
So
we're hoping that we're going to be able to we have kind of like a family gathering planned for it, but fingers crossed it can be done in a safe way by then.
Yeah. Sauv Blanc. Yes, Malcolm.
Yes.
Sauv Blanc.
I'm making headway on this.
I
we
gave her a
started the
line.
live stream like
I gave her a
Derek
line.
gave it. Yeah.
Don't spill. So Lori Sims, so sorry not to have contributed. I've been trying to get external speakers to connect to increase volume on my computer.
Uh-oh,
It's a no-go. Well, I hope you can hear us, Lori.
I hope our volume's good.
I apologize.
Tap tap.
So Darian is saying I have brots today for lunch.
Brats.
Brats. Oh, brats. Like brots. I don't know what that is. Brats. Yeah. Brats are the best. And he said brats underneath. Okay, cool.
We're from Chicago, so we say
brats.
Brats.
Brats? Brats. I don't know.
Chicago.
I say brats. I don't know. But love them. A little bit of like Dijon mustard. So good.
Hello, Ruth Armstrong, aka Mom.
Katie
Welcome.
Smith. Haha. CPB. Cost per brat.
Cost per brat. Cost per brat was really low at Costco this week.
Thomas Reiser, his stomach is Italian. I love that.
I've been making a lot of Mediterranean,
That's really great.
Like Mediterranean cuisine this week. So today I cooked twice, which like that doesn't happen. But I made shrimp pasta for lunch for me and Megan because Derek's on keto, and it was.
It looked great.
Killer.
She used some of my fresh basil.
And then tonight for dinner I made like salmon, herb salmon and stuff like that.
I will say I was super excited when I made my homemade guacamole because I was able to go out and like trim some of like the cilantro for the first time from like that I had raised from seed, and that was pretty cool.
The guacamole. Okay, Derek's family makes incredible guacamole, incredible, and Derek like literally used like diced tomatoes, fresh avocados, diced up an onion, and got cilantro from the garden that if as we've been saying for months now, we're growing basil and cilantro in our garden.
And we've finally been able to start
this week we've been able to harvest it.
Cut back the basil and stuff like that, and we had like some caprese the other day, and so it's nice to be able to actually start.
And by garden we mean pots on our
little
deck
pots,
because we live in a city.
Brian, Prost, yes sir, Prost. Lori Sims is having spicy California rolls tonight.
Ooh,
Yummy.
I love sushi.
Yeah. So Scorpio Sue says Edelweiss has the best chocolate cake. Maybe the best of any kind of chocolate cake. Close to Norwich.
Norwich is a suburb of Chicago, so we're gonna have to
go there.
Check that out when you're going off keto.
I don't know, I'm not a chocolate cake fan.
That's true. Derek actually prefers vanilla to chocolate, and I prefer the reverse.
I prefer banana to anything, personally.
Well, your favorite thing is carrot cake.
Carrot cake, yeah, that's true. Carrot cake is my favorite. What can I say? Oh no, I lost things again.
Yeah, we're super behind.
Okay, yeah. The Grand Hotel.
Thomas Reiser said to go to the Gerald Ford Museum in Grand Rapids.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be really neat to learn about.
Well, and that's also one of those things that we want to do because we've never been to I've never been to any of the presidential libraries.
Yeah.
Which would be really cool, and I don't know if the Gerald Ford Museum is one of the presidential libraries or it's just a museum, but yeah, that'd be really cool. Yeah. Richie and Vanessa, we already said welcome, but welcome again. And let's see, Malcolm, Kim. Hello from Canada. Hello, Bonnie. Glad to see you.
I don't know if Kim's still on, but Kim and Neil had a live stream on Wednesday that I jumped on, and I was telling you about it. Mm-hmm. We were all talking about the fact that I tried Dutch wine.
Oh yeah, from Maastricht.
So it was a Riesling from Maastricht, and Kim's husband Neil is from Amsterdam, and he looked so excited that that Dutch wine existed, and I was so pleased to be able to share that. And I would love to find that in the U.S., but I have a feeling that it's low volume production.
Probably.
So we're just going to have to figure out when we can get back to Europe.
So Megan is saying to Richie and Vanessa that she loved their Iceland price breakdown video. So we'll have to go check that out because we've actually never been to Iceland.
We were literally just talking about how expensive Iceland is today because Derek was saying like, oh, well, Iceland's letting people in if you just take a COVID test. I'm like, yeah, but...
well, I don't know. We don't know if Iceland's a COVID test or if that's
Austria.
It might just be
Austria.
It might be a 14-day thing. But,
yeah.
We would need to figure that out first. But Iceland might be cool, and if it's a viable option for us to travel to, it might be something worth considering.
Yeah.
If we wanted to actually get on a plane and go somewhere.
We've never been. I've only ever really considered going for a long weekend because I've heard that it's incredibly pricey. But it's definitely opening up a little bit earlier than a lot of other places in terms of accessibility. So it's getting higher and higher on our 2020 list. But I'm still worried about the priciness of it.
Although for me, I mean, I could probably spend quite a while in Austria.
I know, but the problem...
Vienna, that'd be
tell me if I'm wrong. Cool. I have researched this, but I feel like this group, we're all, avid travelers here. What I want to know is if there's a direct flight from the U.S. to Austria, because I have not been able to find any on any of the major airlines. You have to have a layover somewhere. So anything direct from anywhere, probably to Vienna, would probably be.
Well, not only that, but does anybody? And because this is the other thing, and the thing that I'm not 100% sure about is, can you do a stop?
No.
You can't get off the plane, so you can't book a flight through Germany down to Austria, right? You can't do a connection.
As of a month ago, you could not.
So I guess that might shut it down unless anybody knows about a way to get to Austria some other way. I don't know.
Yeah. Brian Berghammer I'm calling you out on this because I feel like you would be the top
You'd be the guy that
knowledgeable
know.
man.
Yeah. So there's a lot of questions about, is it the Gerald Ford or the Henry Ford Museum? It's the Gerald Ford. And then also...
Henry Ford would probably be in Detroit, I would imagine.
Yeah, I would too. He's become problematic a little bit. But yeah, so they're saying that it's the Gerald Ford, and also that the Gerald Ford Library is in Detroit. No, is in Ann Arbor. And the museum is in Grand Rapids. So that's pretty interesting.
There's so much to see in Michigan. I don't know.
There is.
I've spent a decent amount of time in the state of Michigan, but there's still so much more to see that it's an incredible state for just like vacationing and just a chill vacation. And I've never been to the UP. I've never been to Mackinac Island. So hopefully 2020 is the year.
Malcolm is saying that there's no restrictions anymore in New Zealand because they destroyed the virus, basically.
Yeah. You guys like crushed it.
And I agree with Megan Morris. So jealous we can't even go to the pools here in Kentucky.
I know.
We can't do that here in Chicago either.
I saw that Mark Walters, I don't know if he's still on, just posted that the pool is opening in his neighborhood in Champaign, Illinois. And I don't think so. There is a pool in a public park in our neighborhood, but they haven't even filled it. I'm pretty sure basically the neighborhood said we're not doing pools this year. So it's fascinating how even within the same state there can be different rules.
Huh. Alright, so Nick is saying that his ancestor was imprisoned trying to escape England to the Netherlands, because at the time you had to have permission to leave England by the crown, and the pilgrims were turned over to the authorities by the captain that they had hired. And they were imprisoned at the Boston Guildhall, Old City Hall.
Because didn't the pilgrims go? The pilgrims went to the Netherlands first, I believe, and he was saying he's related to people from the Mayflower.
Yep.
That is so fascinating. Religious freedom.
Interesting stuff. Eric Brown just checking to say hello to everyone. I'm in bowling league tonight, so I'll see you in the replay. Hit the like button. Thank you, Eric Brown.
Thank you, Eric Brown. Yes.
Everybody, please hit the like button if you're enjoying the show. I don't know.
Great shout out. The like button is a great thing to press. It is the thumbs up button on YouTube down there.
Yeah, if you just click out of the live stream, you can hit a thumbs up, and then you can go right back into live chat.
And then you can go back back in, and it helps out the channel a lot, and it definitely gets people to see these videos more too, and just is a great free way to support this channel.
So Richie and Vanessa Travel, my 23andMe says I'm 35% Native American and 48% Spanish.
Cool.
The rest is a mix of everything. That's really so. I don't know if that's Richie or Vanessa, but I assume based on that, I would assume that would mean maybe Latino. Are you Mexican?
So just so you guys know, Derek's Mexican heritage actually in 23andMe comes back as Native American.
Yeah, mine comes back Native American and Spanish primarily, and that's like 20-ish% of my background are those backgrounds.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting. But that's really cool.
I'd be fascinated to hear that.
And if you are,
if they're still on.
Yeah.
I think it's so interesting.
But it also could be. It could be Guatemala. It could be anywhere.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It could literally be like, in Canada they call it the First Nations people. I mean, it could be anything.
Probably not the Spanish in Canada, but yeah.
Yeah, but they could be Spanish and Canadian.
Oh, I guess they could be.
Just like
I guess.
You are.
Wow. I'm not Canadian.
Well, you're not Canadian, but you are Spanish and you are
Nothing against
Mexican.
Canadians. I love Canada. Canada's really cool, actually.
I actually am. A lot of my relatives lived in Canada, at least for a little bit. It's possible.
It's just got weirdly anti-Canadian.
No, we love Bonnie. We love you.
I proposed to her in Canada.
Actually, yeah, we got engaged in Canada, so clearly we love Canada.
So Malcolm is saying the first time he was in Moher, he sent 2 of his sisters a photo of him, and they cried. That's lovely.
That's amazing. Also, like, I hope that they get to see it someday too. Some people prioritize travel more and some people don't, but it's just so meaningful when you get to see that type of, like, family history in person.
Yeah. Thomas Reiser saying that Irish makes sense as there are a lot of Scottish in the north of Ireland, in Northern Ireland. Yeah. Scotch-Irish,
Yeah. Yes. I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah. Nick Peterson is saying that he should have been at the Cliffs last month. And that's sad.
Oh, Nick, I'm so sad. Your Ireland trip sounded so cool.
Yeah, that sounds like a
but I
great
can't wait
holiday.
for you to go. I know you were saying in 2021, maybe 2022 now.
Yeah.
But sometime soon.
Yep. And Travel Best Destinations. Hello. Welcome. Lori is saying, no travel this month, but with things opening, it will be time to celebrate both my son's birthday and mine on the 17th with a nice dinner out here on SoCal Coast.
Oh, I love that. Cheers to your birthdays,
That's very
Lori.
cool.
That's so great. I'm very jealous that you're in California generally, but that sounds amazing that you have summer birthdays in California on top of that.
Yeah. SoCal is awesome.
Yeah.
We were planning to go there this summer, check out like LA, and well, not check out. I mean, we've been to LA many times now, and we have a number of friends out there that we wanted to go see. Actually, I wanted
We
to
have
go
several friends in Santa Monica specifically, so we go there
we have
probably the most.
We have a couple friends in San Diego, and then we have more friends in probably Santa Monica and like WeHo type area and stuff. And then
When we were in Santa Monica
Actually, now in
last
Anaheim.
year, I like randomly walked into a restaurant with Derek and our other friend, and I ran into people that I was
From
friends
high
with in
school.
high school. I was like, I had no idea you guys even lived here.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, that was a good time. And we had a good meal. It was really nice.
It was fun, and then we went to a yoga class together because
I
it's
did not go.
California, and that's what you do.
I was in business meeting. She went to yoga with friends that she rediscovered.
Yeah, they're great though. They're
So
fun.
Brian Burkhammer, aka Stephanie, is saying that Eliz got her into all of this when they talked about Ancestry in Bruges, and she ordered 23andMe and got an account on Ancestry.com.
Okay, so I hope Brian and Stephanie are still on because I want to respond to this. So Brian and Stephanie and I went. First of all, we were sitting in this main square at like a cafe in Bruges, and we started talking about this because at the time none of us had done it before, and my general question was, do any of the three of us know anybody who says that they have Belgian ancestry? Because I feel like where we grew up in Illinois and Indiana, you just don't run into as many people with Belgian ancestry as probably other parts in the U.S. And we like started this huge deep dive into where people from Belgium immigrated into the U.S., et cetera, because there are different spots within the U.S. that kind of over-index to different places and stuff like that in terms of European heritage. So then I got really interested in it and ordered a 23andMe on Prime Day last July, and Derek and I took
Is this
it.
what started the whole thing?
Yes.
Wow.
So that's why I like literally
I
like
was
2
not
weeks
on
later.
the trip. I was working.
Yes, Derek was working.
I was very jealous of this trip, though.
And well, this is also the trip that I got stuck in Europe. So like, there's that.
Pobrecito.
So I know it was, but I was by myself for a lot
In
of it.
Paris for extra day. You went
I
to
know.
Versailles.
Actually, don't feel sorry for me.
She went to Versailles. She
I
had
went
a
to
great
Versailles
time.
by myself though, and that was an interesting like.
That actually annoyed me because I was like, I've never been to Versailles. Like, we were waiting to go together, and then she got stuck in Paris.
Okay, so there's a few places that I've had to go to by myself just because Derek is working. One of them's Hoover Dam, and one of them's Versailles, and like.
I've been to Hoover Dam before, though, so that's fine.
That's true. But when you go to those places by yourself, people are kind of like, well, what are you doing? And Versailles is one of those. It's like, do you not have any friends? I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I went to Versailles by myself, and I had on my step counter 22,000 steps that day. I crushed it. Saw all of it, and But yeah, so anyway, back to Brian and Stephanie, if they're still here. I would love to hear what Stephanie says, because she was saying that she is very uncertain about her heritage, and like, especially I think it was on her dad's side. She didn't know much, so I'm curious what's going to come back.
So Nick D is saying that all of his ancestors come from Germany, and when he went there, it looked like a family reunion. The hotel clerk assumed I spoke German because of my look and my fairly common last name. Common there, not here.
I wonder what the D stands for.
So
we'll never know.
What's really funny is when I went to Germany, and I stayed in a hotel, they did not think that I spoke German.
That's true.
They thought I spoke Spanish. And I just so happened to have like the one native Spanish speaker checking me into the hotel, and we had a nice conversation in Spanish. Checked me in Spanish, and he told me all about him being from the Dominican Republic, which I thought was very interesting and kind of odd. The only unfortunate thing was that I had food poisoning at the time, and so I was kind of like, we gotta get this done. I just need to get, I need to get to my room.
I was not there. This was a business trip.
Yeah, this was a business. It was a very, very unfortunate business trip, and finally was able to disengage from my Latino brother and get up to my room and everything. It was a
airline did you
terrible
fly?
night. It was a horrible night.
What airline did you fly there? Like from London to
BA.
So watch out for that
Watch
cuisine.
out. No, I think it was something I ate at the airport.
Oh, that's right. Sorry,
yeah.
I remembered it was like an airline situation.
I got like the salmon.
Yeah.
Something or another.
Anyway,
don't do it.
Separate. Moving on.
All I can say is that the trip from the drive from like Frankfurt down was miserable. It was so bad. So Scorpio Sue, no travel for me.
Anyway, so I wanted to piggyback on that super quick. A lot, like every time we go anywhere in Latin America or just Spain, people assume that Derek speaks Spanish. We'll like start with that. And so one time when we were on our honeymoon in South America, they were speaking Spanish, and then Derek like couldn't remember a word, and so he spoke English, and then the person like came back in English, and then Derek spoke back in Spanish, and the hotel concierge was like, you need to choose one. Like English or Spanish.
Well, no, that wasn't the concierge. That was we were getting massages.
Okay. Either way, it was some hotel staff was like, "We're not going to do this."
Yeah. Good times. Scorpio Sue is saying that no travel for her, and she works for an essential business, plumbing, and we're down a person. So hopefully I can take some time off in September.
Oh, that sucks. Plumbing is an essential business.
It really
right
is.
Now. I know some people I know like don't love hearing that and everything right now. That they're an essential worker, but as folks who had their hot water heater go out,
thank goodness,
a couple weeks ago, we are so grateful for plumbers.
Yeah. And Nick Peterson is saying that the reason that Irish records are difficult is because of the Irish Civil War in 1922, and they burned down the Civil Records building. I lost it, but it's something about the Civil Records.
Yeah, we just jumped, didn't we?
They destroyed the Public Records office in Dublin. Yes, so that's the reason why I'm stuck.
No way.
Ruth Armstrong just joining. Welcome.
I know. I said hi to her before.
Oh no.
That is my mama.
So Nick Peterson is saying that he's thinking 2021, but I might need to wait until 2022. I
think he had rescheduled though his flights for 2021.
Travel Best Destinations is traveling to San Francisco on June 24th.
Ooh.
For business. But I like traveling for business. It's kind of fun, and if you can get a night there or something like that, you can go out and see some stuff. So hopefully you stay in a nice part of town. San Francisco is, if you're staying in San Francisco, neighborhood by neighborhood is very different. So
all of those hotels, like the bigger hotel chains, are doing a great job at like broadcasting their new cleaning protocol. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what airline you're flying, but many of the airlines are also, of course, broadcasting what they're doing to make everybody feel more safe. I was just talking to my best friend who works for a large U.S. carrier.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I'm like, sometimes I'm like, should I say
Yeah,
it? But like everybody I feel like knows. So she was saying that, you know, they aren't selling middle seats right now. You know, there's just so many differences in how air travel is, and you can bring like a 12-ounce hand sanitizer with you. A lot of people, you know, the majority of people are wearing their masks. So I think it's going to be weird, but hopefully, you know, so cautious that you're going to be good to go when it comes to business travel.
Virtual dinner party, welcome, hello. Thank you for joining us. If you're still on, we're happy to have you here. Malcolm Hogan is saying that they are planning for Southern Europe plus Estonia for June next year.
Cool.
And they've done Estonia
Oh yeah, let's
before.
talk about June 2021 travel.
No, that's great. Yeah, sure, why not?
There's June 2020, and then there's June 2021. We can do both.
Safari, let's go on safari.
Let's go anywhere that's not our state. Not the Midwest.
Yeah. Megan Morris is saying you guys should do Jocelyn's potatoes and lamb. Super easy and yum.
Yeah, I think Megan was mentioning following Jocelyn's lamb recipe before, and we should definitely do that because we love cooking lamb. We've done like lamb meatballs with a coconut yogurt instead of like a regular yogurt dip. What's the word?
Tzatziki?
It's kind of like tzatziki sauce, but yeah, it'd be cool to try a different lamb recipe too.
Nick Peterson is saying that he had Giordano's pizza tonight, and he loves Chicago deep dish.
Nice.
Very good. And if you come up here, you need to go to Pequod's.
Well, for him, it's down here.
Down here. If you come down here, do Pequod's. Super good, delicious.
Yeah. Giordano's is great though, and yeah, I think they have several locations throughout the Midwest now. So
Yep.
cool.
And Travel Best Destinations is asking if we've ever tried Armenian or Persian food. I don't think I have.
I had several Persian friends in high school. Where I went to high school, there was it over-indexed in like Asian and Middle Eastern, friends and stuff like that. And I feel like I maybe had home-cooked Persian food, but I can't tell you if I've ever been to a Persian restaurant. I've definitely not had Armenian food.
Ronnie Dove is here. Hey, Ronnie.
Hi, Ronnie. Welcome.
And Eric Zacharias. Hi, Dad.
Hello, Eric Zacharias.
And as he says, hello, party people. Which is always fun.
You know who else says that is the Venga Boys.
The Vega Boys?
No, Venga.
Is Venga, not Vega?
Correct.
Okay. I like them. I think they're fun. You know, they do a fun... we watched their stuff when they were still just doing YouTube. Now they're on Hulu.
Do you think the Venga bus is still coming?
I don't know what that is.
I'm sorry. I'm going to stop. 90s.
She lost me.
Yeah.
But no, I've never done Armenian. I don't think I've done Persian. I've done Moroccan. I've done definitely a bunch of Turkish. A lot of different types of Middle Eastern, but I've never done, I don't think, Armenian or Persian food. But that, I mean, I would love to have it. I would love to enjoy that.
Yeah.
And actually, one of the places I really want to go to, obviously it's not Armenian or Persian, but I want to go to Uzbekistan really bad. And
yeah.
The food there seems like really good. And
we watched a Rudy Max's World episode about Uzbekistan, and he does a great job at kind of
he really does
singing its praises. So we would love to go there now.
The thing about Uzbeki food though is that I don't know, I think it's considered fairly unhealthy. Like a few years ago they did this thing about like the most unhealthy food in the world, and it's like Uzbeki food.
I think you're right.
And it had to do with like, I don't know, prevalence of like heart disease
that.
And all this other stuff. But I'm like, but I want to eat it. I want to try that. Yeah. It sounds so good.
But yeah, so if you guys have never watched Rudy Max's World, it's from like the 2000s, so it's older content for sure, but you can get
Yep.
it on Amazon Prime if you have it.
Finleys are here. Mark Finley, welcome.
Hi, Mark Finley.
Hello, sir. Good to see you. Okay, continue.
We were
We
talking
will
about
catch
Mark
up.
Finley earlier. I forget about what. Not anything bad. It was something really good. I can't remember what it was.
I promise. No, I'm just kidding. So Nick D is saying, banana fudge malted shake. That sounds delicious. I would eat that.
Yeah.
And Nick is telling me that he prefers vanilla as well, but he's happy to have chocolate if he needs to.
One of the weird things from 23andMe, just so everybody knows, since we've been talking about it so much, is that there's like a list of traits that you get back, and it says like whether or not you would prefer vanilla or chocolate.
All right, Thomas Reiser says Austrian Airlines goes from O'Hare to Vienna. So you're wrong. We can fly straight.
From O'Hare to oh wait, Austrian Airlines? I've never even heard of that.
There we go.
What alliance are they with?
Maybe none, but we could fly.
But we could fly. Okay, cool.
That's all that matters.
So.
And Malcolm is saying that Lufthansa to Munich would be close. That's close, but if you can't go into Germany, you can't get to Austria, which is the unfortunate thing. All right, so Iceland is the most expensive country we have ever visited.
Yeah.
Richie and Vanessa are saying. I get that. Yeah.
I was trying to like drill it home to Derek on our walk today. I'm like,
it's
listen,
fine.
I know you want to go somewhere. I know Iceland is
on.
on your short list because of its regulations right now, but it's like $50 for a lunch per person. Like,
I mean, that's what people pay for lunch. No, I'm just kidding.
we're not a great.
So Megan Morris is saying that United and Austrian Air have some direct flights from the U.S. You just haven't been looking
It's
right.
probably because I was
guess.
looking at Delta and American more than United.
We gotta fly United.
But I guess we got to do it. I wonder if United has it from Newark versus O'Hare.
But Nick D is saying that the Henry Ford Museum is in Dearborn, Michigan. There we go. Interesting.
Dearborn, Michigan. I can't place that in the mitten. I don't know where that is.
I think that's super close to Detroit.
Okay.
Vegabani is saying best guacamole for me was served on a catamaran in Cozumel, Mexico. Best gazpacho for me is Montevideo, Uruguay. Uruguay will have a argument with who created gazpacho. Actually, some people are think was it no sorry not sorry I
Ceviche.
screwed up. Ceviche.
Yeah.
Ceviche is what I'm thinking about. Ceviche is one. Gazpacho is a Spanish cold tomato soup.
Soup, yeah.
Yeah. Which is very good.
So Montevideo, we've been.
So nice. I liked it.
I would go back, but it's not like my top choice place in Uruguay. I think so. We went to
I'd much rather go to Peru.
Colonial del Sacramento. We went to Montevideo and Punta del Este, and
Top you off.
well, okay, if you already have it out and everything.
Twist my arm.
He got it out of the cooler, so cheers. And we didn't eat at a very nice restaurant in Montevideo, I don't think. Did we? I know we went to McDonald's for one meal because we ordered a guacamole burger.
We were driving out of town. We were trying to get something quick on the road before we headed to because we were going from Montevideo to Punta del Este, right?
Yes.
So because we did Colonia,
Yeah.
Montevideo, Punta del Este.
Yeah.
So we were trying to get on the road, and that's why we did that. I don't remember where else we ate there. I think we just ate at the hotel. We did really easy things there.
Man, we're so lame. We gotta go back and eat somewhere else.
But there was nothing. I'm sure there's really nice restaurants in Montevideo.
Yeah.
But there's nothing
Bonnie,
that we're
let us know what restaurant you got the amazing gazpacho at.
There's nothing that we're
because
trying to really do there except for see the square.
Our friend Clarissa, who I interviewed on this channel, if any of you guys have not watched it, I did
It's a very interesting
COVID-19 interviews back in March and early April about what life was like in different cities that were hard hit and also different countries. And Clarissa was at the time an expat in Buenos Aires, and she ended up flying back to the U.S. After things got tricky. And so she's supposed to go back once it becomes a little bit easier to travel back and forth.
Yeah.
And so we are going to go visit her when she does. And so when that happens, we would likely go back to Uruguay. So if you guys have like restaurant recommendations for Uruguay or Buenos Aires, let us know.
Yeah. Anyway. So Nick Peterson is saying Austrian Airlines does fly directly from the U.S. Their cities are from O'Hare, L.A., New York, and Dulles.
Dang.
So, wow.
Dang. You guys are
I was
enlightening
trusting
me.
you, and you're wrong. I love you.
Thought that I was an authority on this one, and I'll just see myself out.
All right, so Vanessa is saying, yes, I, Vanessa, am of Mexican heritage, and Richie is 100% Dutch. Very cool.
Oh, that's
I like
cool.
the Dutch. I'm Mexican, she's Dutch. That's fun.
Apparently not, according to
23andMe, no. But that's really cool. That's really cool. You know, my family's from like Michoacan, which is like, you know, southwest, I guess, of Mexico City. So
there's
very
also
cool.
Isn't Morelia the area that there are Dutch people that immigrated to Mexico?
German.
Oh, it's German?
Swiss. It might be Swiss. I think it's Swiss.
I thought it was Dutch.
No.
There's definitely an area in Mexico.
I don't know. My grandfather told me it was Swiss, but he might have just been confusing
Morelia might be
Dutch.
Morelia might be Swiss,
Oh.
but according to him. But I think there is a spot in Mexico that there are some Dutch immigrants.
Yeah, so Nick D is saying, not trying to be political, but Jacinda Ardern seems great. And Malcolm responded with, we have an election in September, and she will be a shoo-in because of the way she's handled the whole virus. Yeah.
She's become very likable.
So Travel Best Destination is saying to let them know when we go to SoCal, especially LA, we can schedule a meetup. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Got to get down there because I love that
As soon as it becomes
part of the world.
more feasible, we will likely be in
Yeah.
California before the end of 2020.
Our thing is like driving to SoCal
Yeah.
is
that's
a big to do, but like flying there is like pretty easy. So yeah, flying to LA very easy. Would
Yeah.
be happy to do that, but we had to feel comfortable with the whole flight thing before we do that.
Yeah.
Megan Morris is saying I went ahead and booked the cheap flights from Cincy to Tokyo for October. Awesome, that's super cool.
Megan, I'm so excited.
I'm very excited to hear that. She says
I'm so happy for
she
you.
doubts that it's actually going to happen, but she wanted something to look forward to.
Yeah.
And at least it's refundable. That's
So-
really cool.
And I agree with Scorpio Sue. Tokyo is totally on my bucket list too. And we were just talking about that today.
Yeah.
On that same walk.
I've only been to Tokyo very shortly. I did like a super long layover there that was like, I was flying into Narita and out of Haneda on my way to Singapore. So I had like, I don't know, like 10, 14 hours. It was a pretty long layover, but you know, not enough time to really get out into the city and like explore much. So we need to get out there and like really do Tokyo.
We have watched 2 different Japanese-based television things during quarantine. One of them is called Our Man in Japan.
Which is great.
Yeah. What's his name? James.
He's the guy from,
If Brian Burkhammer was still on, he would totally correct
he's
me.
the car guy.
James May.
James May.
Thank you, Derek.
You got it.
It was me. Okay.
Love you.
Be right back.
You get any more drinks?
Yes, I know. So, so that's on Amazon Prime, and it's, I think, like a 4-part travel show about how he goes from the top of Japan basically to the bottom of Japan, and it's super fun. He's just a funny guy. And then, what was the other one that we watched? There's something else that we watched that was set in Japan, and I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh, it was this one documentary about this guy who went from Australia to Japan to learn how to cook like Japanese food and stuff like that. So there's tons of different content that you can watch kind of in preparation for it, just to get excited. So hopefully that'll be a really fun trip. Righto. Oh man, now I'm like talking to myself and you guys. Okay, let's do it. So, let's see where Derek left off. Yep, there's left in November. Tokyo's on Scorpio Sue's bucket list, mine too. Malcolm says there used to be a saying in New Zealand that everyone knows a Dutchman, so as so many came out to New Zealand in the late 40s and 50s. I actually didn't know that. That is news to me. My great-grandfather from Amsterdam was stationed over in Borneo for a little while, but that was like well before the 40s and 50s. But then he went straight to Alabama from there. And that's where he met my great-grandmother. Then Malcolm said to travel and tour, they all went back to the Netherlands for a holiday at age 65 to sign up for the Dutch pension. So they got both New Zealand and Netherlands pensions. No way. Oh, man. The Dutch are really good with money. Generally speaking. Nick Deutschland is your name? Oh, wow. Dude. Is this a joke? Oh, no, you said JK. I'm sorry. I totally didn't read that part. I got really excited. Okay. You're going to have to tell us what the D actually stands for, though. And then To Travel and Tour says, yeah, that does sound like a Dutch thing to do. Yep, I just agreed to that. Nick Peterson, British Airlines is a great airline. I flew with them from London to Dublin round trip. That's the type of flight where by the time you are at cruising altitude, it's time to land. Yeah, we did a similar one. I think it was like London City Airport to Schiphol in Amsterdam, and it's, super short flight. Derek also flew one from, I think, Charles de Gaulle to City Airport, I believe, and he literally did a time lapse of the entire trip and posted it on his Instagram. So it was the takeoff all the way to the landing in England on BA. But they do a lot of those short flights, but it's great. Like, just in Europe generally, it's so cool how close everything is to each other. So like, whether it's BA or anything else, I love that you can get.
Well, and not only that, but like I'm always shocked by how short of a flight it is, but they still do like the whole like service. Like they bring you like a whole meal and a drink, and like it's pretty intense.
They don't always bring you a whole meal. Oh wait, you're probably flying the nice ones.
Paris to London.
Did you get upgraded on BA? Usually?
No, it's like all business class basically.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It's like every other seat basically.
Okay.
But it's pretty cool. It was kind of surprising. So where are we?
So Nick fooled me, and I just have to point out because
Nick Deutschland.
Yeah, he was just kidding.
Yeah, he said it right in the same line.
I know, and I didn't read it. Because, and then I laughed, and then I realized he was kidding.
Okay.
But we still don't know what the D stands for.
Nick D. I don't know. All right, so BA is a great airline. I flew them from London to Dublin round trip. That's the type of flight where by the time you're at cruising altitude, it's time to land. Yes, which is a lot of fun. I assume that's what you're actually talking about.
Yeah.
Thomas Reiser, I took BA from London City to Dublin in January. Oh, that's nice. Snuck it in there.
London City Airport. Let me just sing its praises real quick. It is small but mighty in terms of the fact that it's easy to get to from downtown London. You can get there on the Overground train. Yeah. And our friends live in Greenwich, and it's super easy to get to there from Greenwich. So it's just a wonderful, wonderful airport in comparison to like how far out like a Stansted or a Luton or Gatwick or Heathrow are.
Yeah, Stansted and Gatwick and those are all.
So if you like need to, okay, so hot tip, if you need to get anywhere from London to like the continent and you're staying in London, the city, try as best as you can to fly out of London City Airport.
Yeah. So Malcolm is saying BA are not, basically that he will not fly BA unless he has to. I would agree with that, personally. So Nick Peterson.
Transatlantic or generally? Because I didn't feel like it's...
So if I had to choose between American Airlines and British Airways...
Yeah, transatlantic. You definitely choose American, I know.
Yeah, 100%, because the seats are better.
But like if you had to choose like BA versus Air France, going from London to Paris?
I have no idea. I've never flown Air France.
Okay. I thought I was gonna get an
I don't
opinion.
I have no opinion because I don't know.
Because you've really only flown BA within Europe, I believe. Right?
Primarily because it's an American Airlines
Right.
thing, and I like earning miles. I've got a lot of them, so it's good to just double up.
Speaking of, I posted this on my Instagram, but I don't think I'm connected with all of you guys on Instagram. This week, American Airlines announced that if you book a flight anytime between now and September 30th, you can earn double miles on flying. And you have to book it, but you have to register your American AA Advantage account before June 30th in order to take advantage of the deal. So if you're oh, I'm gonna fly in September, I will get the double miles and I'm gonna book it in the middle of July. Not gonna work. So do it now, and then reap the benefits.
Yep. So Nick is saying that he's still waiting on his voucher from Aer Lingus, but once he gets it, it's good for 5 years, which is pretty cool. Lori is saying that BA planned LAX to London September still on, which is very cool. Ronnie Dove, what's up? Sorry I'm late. Welcome, Ronnie. We already said hey, but
Ronnie Dove.
hey again. Megan Morris. Also, wait until they cancel your flight because the refund will be much easier to get. Was supposed to go to Turkey in March and waited until weeks after to call for a refund. Had no issue.
Awesome.
Good pro tip there. Mark Finley.
Also,
welcome.
I really want to go to Turkey too.
Yeah. I want to do the
and March
the
would be a
Turkish
great
coast.
time to go, I think. It wouldn't be too hot or anything.
Yeah, the Turkish coast would be really cool to do. Mark Finley, welcome. Hello, sir. Megan Morris is saying, but I'm saying
I just
good
remembered
karma your
what
way.
we were talking about with Mark Finley. It was when I was complimenting the chocolate milk and Bailey's combo, and I hope he's drinking that again tonight. I was super wanting to try
Sounds
that after
so
you
delicious.
said it. Yeah, I'm like, that sounds epic.
I do that with 2% chocolate. It'd be so nice. Be like a dessert.
2% milk.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Not 2% chocolate milk, 98% Bailey's. That'd be a lot. Okay, so Ronnie Dove, what up? Sorry I'm late. Okay, welcome.
You already said that.
I know. I'm trying to catch
And then Mike Finley was there.
All right, so Megan is sending Lori good karma. And, all right, so Lori is saying she talked to customer service, to customer travel rep yesterday, and was told I could not only get points, I paid by Amex, but most likely a cash voucher. Well, that's good. So Nick Pearson, I added 2 states to my road trip. Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, New York, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, Tennessee, Mississippi, Arkansas, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, and Iowa. 22 states in 4 weeks. Can't wait to see the world. Might as well see America.
Thank you for translating to anyone who doesn't know the abbreviations.
I'm glad that I got them all.
That is a lot.
Dang.
I am super impressed. I don't know. Wait, which one are the 4? Which one are the 2 that he added?
I have no idea. Okay, cool.
We mapped out a really long road trip at the beginning of the quarantine. That included a lot of states like that too, but I think it was only 19. You're crushing it.
Yeah. 2 Travel and Tours saying that Rudy Max is awesome, and they've seen the vast majority of his episodes.
Yeah, we have 2. We haven't watched them in a little while. We used to watch them a lot more when we lived in New York. Yeah.
Everybody's telling us that Austrian Airlines is Star Alliance. Very cool. And that they're owned by Lufthansa. So...
we just need to start thinking about United more. Clearly.
Clearly.
I think what probably happened was that I went on United's website and saw that they maybe didn't fly direct there, and then gave up.
So Nick Peterson is saying that the ice cream trait for me on 23andMe says my vanilla versus chocolate is 50-50 chance of liking either. So it does fit me well. So those traits are so weirdly correct on mine. I feel like 50-50 is a cop-out. But
I think mine also said 50-50, actually. But I definitely prefer chocolate. So
vanilla.
they got it wrong.
To me, like, the most American meal you could have is a vanilla milkshake, a burger, and fries.
Chocolate milkshake, burger, fries.
Nah. My mom is saying that her and my father used to go to Dearborn, Michigan on school field trips.
For what? The Henry Ford Museum?
I have no idea.
Fascinating.
Very cool.
Now, I'm going to actually look up where Dearborn, Michigan is, because where you guys grew up is not close to Detroit, so... Jared told me it was by there.
Richie and Vanessa are saying that they would love to visit Buenos Aires. Buenos Aires is really cool. It's one of my favorite cities in South America. Haven't been to very many. I've been to Buenos Aires. I've been to Santiago, Montevideo, Colonia del Sacramento, Bariloche,
Wow, you guys...
Mendoza.
I'm sorry, I interrupted. Darlene, you guys went all the way from Portage to Dearborn, Michigan?
It's by Ann Arbor.
That's like 3.5 hours away. That is a devoted field trip.
Yeah. You know, what can they say? But Buenos Aires, yes. So Buenos Aires is really cool. Great city. Highly recommend it to anybody who's traveling into like the south of South America. So.
Yeah. Buenos Aires is amazing. We loved it. Definitely want to go back. We stayed in La Recoleta too, which is super fun. But I feel like we would maybe consider staying closer to Puerto Madero next time.
Yeah, maybe. Puerto Madero is a little bit more like modern, like nice buildings and stuff like that. It's super picturesque, like phenomenal, like sunset pictures and stuff. Very modern, like bridges. That's where when they did the. So when we were there, it was at the very tail end of the. It's the big trade mission. It's like the Group of 9 or something like that. It's one of the big like trade missions that they were hosting in Buenos Aires that year, and it's all around that area and stuff, which is pretty cool.
But specifically, we also like my favorite place in Buenos Aires was La Boca neighborhood in terms of being a tourist.
Yeah.
But I've heard,
don't stay there after dark.
Don't even go there after dark, much less like stay around there. So we felt very fine during the day.
It's good in the daytime. Don't stay there after dark. I've heard it gets pretty shitty pretty quick.
Yeah.
And Vanessa saying, OMG, Michoacan on my dad's side, Jalisco on the mom's side. Hey, that's fun.
You guys are
my family's from Michoacan, so it's Jiquilpan, which is probably like 2 hours west of Morelia in Michoacan, which is pretty cool. I have never actually been down there. I really want to go.
We were literally going to go this year. We've said this before a lot.
Was hoping to take my grandfather down there because he's been doing the guilt trip thing a little bit with like, oh, I just want to go one more time. And we're like, okay, you're in great health. Come on, let's go.
Derek's dad, who's on here, Eric Zacarias, he apparently went when he was a kid with the fam and was completely fine, like drinking the water like straight up and everything like that. And, like,
well, that was the funny
always
thing.
Brags about it.
So my dad was like the littlest one, and when he went down there, like they were like eating and drinking everything. He was like the only one who didn't get like food poisoning and everything, which is pretty funny. And my mom is saying, yeah, they went there for the museum.
Oh, yeah.
So Michigan. Okay, so Nick D is saying that he's a picky eater, but he didn't have too much trouble eating in Japan. And that's in response to Thomas Reiser, who's saying that Jocelyn Walters suggested Tokyo, but he doesn't know that he could find anything to eat there.
There's a lot of different kinds of food in Japan. And the documentary that we watched, oh my god, what was it called? Where the guy from Australia goes to Japan to learn how to cook Japanese food. There's like meats, there's fish, there's vegetable dishes, there's just tons and tons of stuff. But like, it sounds like, Thomas, you have like different things to consider. So I'm not going to presume anything, but there is a lot more than like just sushi in Japan or something like that.
I would say research it because if you can do, I mean, I don't know, like if you eat carbs, if you eat whatever, but like there's a lot of things there from really good veggies to seafood to chicken to like noodles and things like that. There's a lot of noodle dishes that are really good, whether it's like a ramen
and even
or
Japanese
soba
barbecue.
noodle.
Yeah.
So I would recommend if you're planning to go to Japan, I would try to find a few authentic Japanese places that are beyond sushi, maybe like full like hibachis and things like that, and go try a few different things so you kind of know what you're getting into in advance before you go. Which I like to do. That's it's fun to actually like. For me, like a big part of visiting a new culture and a new place is like the food, experiencing the food, and that's one of the things about hopefully going to Mexico that I really want to do is that I know like my family's cooking. I know what Mexican food is to us, and I know what like Sonoran Mexican food is because her family lives in Tucson. So like having like the carne seca and stuff like that is like really good, but it's not what I grew up with. It's very different. But like I would love to go to like Mexico and visit and experience more of the like regional cooking in Mexico, which is something that I don't think a lot of people can like differentiate here.
I wouldn't have really known. So until I married Derek, because all the Mexican food that I'm really familiar with is Sonoran style. So it's fascinating to just learn the regional differences. Speaking of Tucson, I don't know because I don't think Jocelyn's still on. I just want to say there's actually a wildfire that's really strong in Tucson, Arizona right now. So everybody send your positive vibes over there because it's bad stuff.
So Malcolm is saying Henry John Duchendorf Jr. is very close, better known as question mark. I have no idea.
I got lost on that one. Sorry, Malcolm.
I don't know. Couldn't tell you. So, to travel on tour, so many places in South America I'd love to visit, though I'd have to say Peru is number one on my list when it comes to this continent. Yeah, so Peru is, of what's left that we haven't been to, Peru's definitely number one.
Yeah.
Because I think Machu Picchu is number one of, like, just places I need to get to. I think we've mentioned it before, but one of my cousins, his wife is, and so I guess my cousin, she's Peruvian, and she's a beautiful soul, and her family's really cool. Really enjoyed hanging out with them at their wedding the other year, and I would love to...
The other year? It literally was like 6 months ago.
It was so soon ago, but like...
Feels so far away.
It feels like years ago. But it was a lot of fun, and I really want to make it down there because Peru has a lot to offer. It has a very rich culture, and in South America, if you like delve into the history and everything, like the percentage of the indigenous populations in different countries that actually like survived and continue till today, differs, depending on where you are. If you go down to like Argentina, for example, the vast majority of people there are of European ancestry. There's very, very few of indigenous populations that still exist down there, and same with like Chile and other places. But if you're, Peru, it's a higher percentage. A lot more actually survived and continued to today. So it's, it's a vibrant culture and a place that I'd love to go and spend more time in. So.
I agree.
Richie and Vanessa, we've watched a lot of Peru
okay,
vlogs.
So I just want to say something super fast. Nick D says his last name is Disler. I went to high school with a Nick Disler.
Did you go to high school with her?
So,
are you from Hinsdale?
I literally was like, I know that name, and I just looked it up. Wait, no, he spells it N-I-K. So it's a
Never mind.
Different Nick Disler, but close. Cool. Yeah, that is a common name.
So Richie and Vanessa are taking off. Good to see you guys.
Great to have you guys on.
Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. But you guys were saying that you've watched a lot of Peru vlogs, and it looks amazing. But Argentina is also a cool place.
Yeah.
So.
We loved. We watched Walter's World do a joint live stream with my gosh, what is it? Something World, Turn It Up World, and they talked all about Peru. So if anybody's interested in going to Peru and hasn't been, like we are, that was a fascinating one, and I think it's on Turn It Up World's channel. So hit that up if you're wanting to learn more about Peru.
Yeah, so Nick D right here says, my last name is Disler. There's an old toy company called the Disler Toy Company.
Yeah.
He used to make tin cars. That's fun. Megan Morris is saying that she would have done Peru this summer if it was possible. Yeah, that'd be cool. Malcolm is saying, London to Paris, I would take the train. Yes, I would as well. It's just so much easier. And that London city is on the DLR, according to Thomas Reiser. That's cool.
Yeah, so the DLR and the Overground, I think, are the same thing, which is why I was saying you can take the Overground train there. But tell me if I'm wrong, because I feel like Thomas, he's the resident train expert on this, and I am super happy for him to correct me if they actually are different.
I mean, the Eurostar is super easy, like through the channel and everything.
Oh, yeah.
So it's super easy. I would highly recommend it.
And the Eurostar now goes from London to Amsterdam, which is a new addition and a huge game changer.
Megan Morris wants to see Papagino. You should go find him.
What time is it?
Go find him.
Oh yeah,
He's awake.
He'll be awake. He's had. He's still adjusting. Derek can.
He's good. It's fine.
We might need to bring Megan up here in case.
Alright, guys. Let's clear some of these comments and go pretty quick. Papagino, is he going to make an appearance? Yes. Maybe? I don't know. We'll see. Is he awake? Thomas Reiser says that he loves the Eurostar and was supposed to do Amsterdam Central to St. Pancras, but COVID killed that. Yeah, so Amsterdam Central, great station, love it. St. Pancras in London, also love that. I just love like the central location of all of that, all that stuff. And that's why, you know, if you can take the train versus an airplane, it's really nice because you don't have to get there quite as early. You can relax, you can be on your phone, you can make phone calls if you have to. And then when you get into the city, you're actually in the middle of the city, which is really nice. So highly recommend that when you're in Europe. So Nick Peterson says, Arizona and New Mexico are two that I added. I figured since Dallas is only 1,058 miles away from the Grand Canyon, and I've never been, I figured I need to go. Yeah, Grand Canyon's really cool. Highly recommend it if you're in the Arizona region, or if you're in like, you know, Vegas or whatever. You know, it's really nice. So, very cool. Lori Sims, last year, Nick Peterson, I took my adult son to Europe, and we traveled all by train, London, Paris to Barcelona, by the fast trains. That's very cool. And if you go into Barcelona, so you can go from Barcelona down to Madrid, down to like Sevilla, and you take the Acela, which is like the high-speed train in Spain, and I highly recommend that. That's really cool. And I've actually never been up to Barcelona, but the train down from like Madrid to Sevilla is very easy, and like the south of Spain, Andalusia, is beautiful. It's gorgeous and like super nice. So, oh boy, we've got somebody coming to see us.
This was my workout. I just carried him up 2 flights of stairs and woke him up.
He's probably not happy.
He's asleep still, I'm pretty sure.
His name is Evil Knievel because he's got this thing going on.
This is Papagino. Wait, do you remember? So Derek's over here. You want to see him?
He's like, why are there lights in my eyes? You guys suck.
I love you. It's okay.
He's so adorable.
This is our Papagino appearance. Hope everybody's interested. He's already
kind of like snoring.
Slash purring. Should I give you a little belly rub?
Yes, the Ave, not the Acela. Jesus. Thomas, thank you for correcting me. The Ave. That is the high-speed train.
Okay, so just want to say,
the Acela is the
northeast. This dog is 29 pounds, and I am out of breath, so I need to work out. But he says hi. he was asleep, but he's very interested in all things travel.
What's up, buddy?
Hi.
He's set in his ways, guys. But, yeah, so let's see what else we got. Vega Bonnie is saying she's Team Vanilla.
Yeah, so are you. You guys are on
Me
the same
too.
team.
Bonnie. Let's do it. Nick Peterson, after the trip, I have been to every state in the continental USA.
That's so cool.
That'd be really cool.
She's
trying to do that.
I want to do that so badly, but we'll see if we get there.
Thomas Reiser is saying that he's
in
Team
2020.
Chocolate.
I will get there soon.
2021
Just in 2020,
maybe.
if we'll see if I get there.
Megan Morris is Team Salted Caramel.
I didn't know that was an option, but so if it's between like chocolate and peanut butter versus chocolate and caramel, I'm definitely chocolate caramel, and Derek's chocolate peanut butter.
Yeah.
So we're just different people.
Richie and Vanessa are saying that they're going to try the Bailey's combo tonight. That's very cool. And Darlene, yep. So Mom was saying yes for the museum.
Chocolate milk Baileys.
Yes, chocolate milk and Bailey's sounds delicious. God.
I feel like Mark Finley needs to market that.
Yeah. And Bonnie is saying that salted caramel would actually get her vote as well. So.
He's so heavy. Literally.
Do you want me to take him?
Maybe. He does like you better. We decided that last night.
Okay, come on, bud. Alrighty.
He likes me, but I think it's because him and Derek are the two guys in the house that they have their moments.
He-Man Woman Haters Club. I'm just kidding. Oh, okay, bud. You okay? You're very loud.
I think he was not pleased that he had to wake up. Oh. Say hi to your fans. Oh my god.
Hi, bud.
Anyway.
I'm so sorry.
So, that's Papagino.
You okay, bud? Yeah. He's good.
He's really representing Flag Day, which is...
Is it Flag Day?
Flag Day is the 14th of June, which is, I believe, Sunday.
Oh, your breath. Yummy.
Okay, anyway, so let's...
Okay.
Where were you? I'm sorry, I got so distracted with how heavy he was. Where were you in
Nick
the chat?
Peterson, Lori Sims, I'll be driving so much. I have an oil change set up at a Ford dealer in West Memphis, Arkansas, halfway through my trip.
By the way, PG,
that's pretty awesome.
I'm reading the other side of the chat. Malcolm Hogan says his wife says that PG is cute. She has just come home from work. So you have somebody looking at you in New Zealand.
There you go.
There you go.
You got a New Zealand admirer.
He's
And you can find him on Sir Papagino.
Yes, Sir Papagino.
At Sir Papagino.
On Instagram. He was okay, so just so everybody has his background, PG's Gotcha Day, our friend, roommate Megan, got him a year ago almost. I think it's June 18th. And we're trying to figure out how to celebrate, and we were talking about potentially cooking an Italian meal.
Somehow that he can eat.
Even though we have no idea what breed of dog he is. We definitely think he's part Shih Tzu.
We think he's an old Italian man.
Potentially part Bulldog.
Oh, look at that yawn. Oh, yes. Glorious.
But he
oh, God, it smells.
basically sleeps all day, which is wonderful. And we think he's about 11 years old. So.
He's a lovely old man. We love him quite a bit. Okay, so Nick Peterson, yep, he's driving a lot, so he's got to get an oil change. To travel on tour, vanilla and chocolate is not just combo, it is the only combo.
Your dad says hello, party dog.
Oh yeah, he's a party dog. Megan Morris, give me all the Japanese food except their pizza. Not really down with the mayo on the pizza. Yuck.
Mayo on pizza sounds nasty.
Not cool.
I'm not gonna lie about that. I'm not gonna pretend that sounds good. It seems weird.
Okay. What's up,
Should we let him go back downstairs, or is he? You guys asked for this.
I don't know. I'm just hanging
Megan
out.
says, "There he is. Can I take him home for a week, like when you could borrow your classroom pet in preschool?" The other Megan's like over there laughing her butt off. So one fun thing that happened is one time in February, Megan did have her neighbor who works at the Daily Show babysit Papagino for a week, and he made it onto the Daily Show dogs Instagram.
Well, him and Trevor Noah
had a photo shoot together.
All right, but
So there's that.
we're gonna let you go back to your mama because
You
you're
guys are about to knock over my tree over there.
I'm gonna knock down a tree.
Let's I'm gonna be right back, and Derek can keep chatting. Let's go find Mom. Uh-oh.
He's like, I'm
like,
done. I'm laying here.
happening?
Oh, okay. Papagino is a beast. He's awesome.
Good night, Papagino. Okay, so there's that. We've lost some people.
Yeah, people are like, we're getting out of it. We're done with this. God, dogs.
But he is
Love
pretty
dogs.
cute. He is pretty cute.
He is adorable. Okay, so Lori Sims, I hear you. I was worried the other day. It was so hot, my glass sunroof motor would not retract, putting off service since not driving so much. All right, so Lori basically was saying that her roof, I guess, wouldn't retract for like her sunroof, and she put off the service because it's just not driving a lot.
Yeah, I think you can get some discounts on your auto insurance now too, just from like low mileage. If you used to drive a lot, I've heard that you can kind of petition your insurance providers on that.
Yeah,
we always haven't driven much, so we haven't taken advantage of that. But something to do if you live in a highly driven area.
So To Travel on Tour is saying mayo on pizza. You gotta be kidding me. Yeah. So actually, what's funny is I remember when I was living in Spain, when I studied in Spain for a little bit, the like I lived with a family, and like the son would put mayo on everything. He put mayo on like really nice pasta that his mom made, and I remember being like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Do you want mayo?" And I'm like, "No." And I was like, "It looks really nice, like as it is, and stuff." But he would like slop on mayonnaise, and it was like crazy to me. So, there you go.
I've had fruit pizza before I was lactose intolerant, and it has like cream cheese with bits of fruit on it, and it's like a sugary kind of pie crust. But I can't really picture mayo on pizza for any, like with the normal pizza toppings. I can't even, it like blows my mind. I can't even think about it.
Yeah. Thomas Reiser though likes cheese pizza. There we go. So when do you start your road trip? Nick Peterson, and it's okay. So Nick Peterson is saying it's like in Seattle where they put cream cheese on their hot dogs. What? They put cream cheese on their hot dogs? I did not know that.
I've never heard of that.
To be fair, I don't get hot dogs many places.
Yeah, Derek's not a hot dog person.
It's not a hot dog fan.
But like, Lord knows he loves those brats, bringing it full circle.
Because brats are freaking delicious. I don't care. Malcolm Hogan is saying, close to Deutschland is a name with Nick D. Henry John Deutschlander was John Denver. Hey, wow, I did not know that. Henry John Deutschendorf is John Denver.
No way.
The more you know.
No way.
I did not know that.
I feel like I'm gullible, and they could be saying something that's a complete lie, and I would believe it. But like, I'm gonna look this up later. Yeah. My phone's over there now, though. We switched seats.
So Thomas Reiser is saying that the overground is different from DLR.
Thomas Reiser, you're always correcting me with train stuff.
And Nick D is saying that Domino's Japan has a shrimp and mayo pizza. Shrimp and mayo pizza, that sounds kind of nice. I don't know, I'd try that. Why not?
I think I would try that, but like, what else is on it? One time I tried a salmon pizza, and it was not as good as sausage pizza.
There we go. Thomas Reiser is saying that his favorite stations in Europe are St. Pancras and Paddington. So both in London, which are very nice.
St. Pancras, the international side, is really nice, like where the Eurostar goes.
And as I already said to Thomas Reiser, yes, the AVE is the Spanish high-speed train. I screwed up. I said the Acela. The Acela is actually in the northeast. You can take that from like New York, I think, to like D.C.
Yeah, so. Thomas, thank you for being our fact checker.
Thank you for fact checking me. I needed that.
You've got
the
it.
AVE.
We need you to be sitting like right here.
As in like Ave Maria. It's very nice.
Katie Smith says, "Where's PG's favorite place to travel?" So, we don't
Chicago.
know because, to our knowledge, he's only been in Manhattan and Chicago, but he's lived a long life without us.
So we don't know. He might have been everywhere.
We feel like he's seen a lot of things, and we just don't know what those things are.
Yeah.
So, we're going to try to get it out of him. But generally speaking, we think he's going to like Italian food when we serve it to him.
I do like that my dad said, "Hello, party dog." Party people and party dog.
Hello, party dog.
Megan Morris, yes! I totally see a Lady in the Tramp moment between Gino and Derek. Yes. Just give us some spaghetti. His breath is gross, guys. It's pretty gnarly, so. Ugh. All right, so Bonnie, lots of Germans in South America.
Okay, also Papa Gino has many health problems. He had them when Megan rescued him from Muddy Paws. He was actually quite.
He has some teeth issues.
He was in animal control. He was actually discovered very neglected. So she's been working towards getting him into like better health slowly but surely.
Slowly but surely, he's doing the stairs at our house.
To different things. So one of those things is dental disease, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. But Bonnie is saying lots of Germans in South America visited Blumenau, Brazil. My dad was born in Blumenau district in Mannheim, Germany. And I think Blumenau, Brazil has the largest Oktoberfest in the Americas. Very cool. So when we were actually in South America, we did not go to Brazil, but we were in Argentina. And when we were in Argentina, we went down to Bariloche, which has a very large German population. Yeah. And Bariloche was first settled, I think, by the Germans in like the late 1800s. They set up pretty large, like cities and stuff. And it's pretty cool because you go down there and there's a bunch of like breweries that do like beer and stuff like that, and they do that's where they do like chocolate in Argentina. And
there's like a whole chocolate factory. It's so good.
Yeah, it's really nice. So highly recommend it. So
also Malcolm Hogan was saying, and coming up next, show and tell with your pets. We love pets, even though we don't have any. So if you guys want to send us pictures of your pets or you with your pets, DM us on Instagram or send them to us on Facebook, and we will highly appreciate those. We love animals.
And agreeing with Ryan Donahue here is that after trying it in Europe, I do like mayo and fries. So if you go to Belgium, if you go to like,
people
whatever,
look at you funny
Flemish
in Europe
fries,
if you
like,
order
so
ketchup
good.
for your fries.
But like so if you go to like Amsterdam, you can get mayo, or you can also get like mayo and curry and stuff like that, and they like put that on because like the Indonesian, like our version of like ethnic food or whatever is like typically thought of as Mexican food. Like everybody thinks of like Mexican and Chinese as probably the two biggest ethnic foods here in the United States. In the Netherlands, that's Indonesian food because that was one of their big colonies. So there's a lot of food and culture that has been transported back there. And we actually really enjoyed Indonesian food when we went down there. And tried it for the first time. Loved it. It was very good. And they then bring that into things like their fries, which is pretty cool. Very, very tasty. How much does Papa Gino weigh? Sorry if that's a rude question.
He weighs way more than he looks.
He's about 30 pounds. He's about 29 pounds.
He's so heavy. He doesn't help. Like when you pick him up,
he does that
he's just like
little
dead weight.
Yeah, he does like the little kid karate move that they all know is like dead weight. And it's great. But it's
great.
Love it. So good.
I'm looking up City Airport based on what Thomas is saying. Because I could have sworn it was on. I think we maybe just took the overground because we were staying in Shoreditch and maybe transferred to the DLR. This is Beck. Change here for the district. Northern.
Okay.
Waterloo and City Lines. And the DLR.
Nice. Okay, so Malcolm is saying DLR is teal on the map. Overground is orange.
Yeah, I'm seeing that now.
And Thomas Reiser, I was a reference librarian for 30 years. Which is why he knows so much
he's
stuff.
got, the reference is in there.
Steel trap, as they say.
Yeah.
Malcolm Hogan is saying, I've got 3 so far, USA, Canada, New Zealand. 3-1. Okay, so Megan is asking Malcolm is the ultimate fact checker. Are we going to see a country tally for this chat?
Yeah, I was on Two Travel and Tours live stream, and there was like 14 different countries represented, and we've never had anywhere near that. That was so impressive.
Pretty impressive,
really,
yeah.
really fun to attend. But theirs is like in the middle of the afternoon, so I think they're able to get a lot more European people to join.
Two Travel and Tour is saying, meanwhile, Malcolm Hogan has become the official minister of demographics in our live streams. LOL. That's funny.
Yeah, love it.
And Megan Morris, love that title. Well deserved, Malcolm Moore, but way to go, sir.
Their live streams are super fun. So we attend Two Travel and Tours live streams. Obviously Walter's World, Gallivanting Gals on Mondays, which I feel like because they're traveling, they were saying it's gonna be a little bit harder to get live just due to bandwidth. But it's super fun to connect with all the folks that attend ours regularly, and just we've created such a wonderful travel community that I really highly appreciate because we're like here in Chicago, we're kind of still in quarantine. Like we're slowly opening up, and I know a lot of other places are way more open, but like we're still very much social distancing. We're wearing masks, out in public, that sort of thing. And just to be able to connect with fellow travelers while we're kind of all grounded has been unbelievably essential for me and Derek.
Yeah. So Malcolm, 15 kilos of a little dog is getting up there. Yeah.
Is that the conversion?
Yeah,
30
roughly.
pounds, 15 kilos.
Yeah. He's kind of heavy, but he snuggles well.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. So, Nick Peterson, I just tagged you in a post in the Superheroes group, Derek, with a link to explain the Seattle hot dog. It was actually a lot better than I expected when I was there last. Yeah, no, so we'll have to try that. So we have friends in Seattle. We actually like Seattle. We were there this last year.
Seattle.
No,
you said it like
no.
We actually like it.
We like it. It's nice. No, so we were there. We were there
in September.
In September, we really enjoyed it. We went and we saw some of the different like what's the place that had like the salmon fishery and all that stuff? Do you know what I'm talking about?
That was
it was
in
like the
Vancouver.
locks. No, it was at the
Oh,
locks.
you're talking about.
They had salmon things there.
Oh man, it was that.
They had
really
the otters and stuff.
1800s-y name. Hiram.
It was like
something.
Hiram. It was pretty cool.
I'm gonna look this up.
But we had a good time there. We saw a crazy lightning storm while we were there, and ate some really delicious seafood. Really highly recommend Seattle. I think it's great. I'd go back in a heartbeat. So Bonnie is saying in Europe they call ketchup red sauce.
So it was in the Ballard neighborhood of Seattle. The salmon fishery was at the Hiram and Chittenden Locks. And it is actually a really popular tourist destination. Yeah. And a lot of people that own boats will go out those locks in order to get out to Puget Sound and stuff like that. Fascinating area. There's just a lot to see when you're there. So like you can see all the boats leaving through the lock system. You can kind of tour around and see the museum there and go to the salmon. Is it a fishery? I don't know. I feel like it's almost a salmon museum. Because the fishery, I think, was in Vancouver when we went.
They probably went there too.
I don't know.
But Malcolm is telling us that ketchup is called tomato sauce in New Zealand.
Is it really? I mean, it is.
So there you go.
That's what it is. So you guys are just factual.
Nader, welcome, Nader. Hey,
welcome, Nader.
How you doing?
I feel like I know I've seen
Nader
Nader a
won.
ton on Walter's World. I don't know if you've been in here before, so welcome if you haven't.
Thanks for joining us. We're really happy to have you.
Yeah, this is a great crew.
But so what he's saying is he's hoping to go to Couch Crash Atlanta Labor Day weekend, but not looking good with that many people and social distance.
Yeah.
So Couch Crash Atlanta, what is that a like a music festival? Do you know?
I don't know. I'm sure he can let us know, but I feel like Nader's from Alabama. I don't know if I'm totally remembering this wrong. I haven't talked to him in a little bit, but yeah, I think there's just a lot of different factors that everybody is considering right now for any sort of travel, about whether or not maybe something's opening up earlier than others, and you just kind of have to like monitor how different places are handling, hygiene and stuff like that too, and make a call based on your own situation.
Yeah. So Vagbani is saying tomato sauce or ketchup makes total sense.
Yeah. Agree.
Malcolm.
I don't even know why it's called ketchup. Like why is it?
Why?
Don't we all just say tomato sauce?
Yeah, no.
Although tomato sauce is kind of like the word
Marinara.
for pasta sauce here,
marinara.
which is a different, like it's a completely different type.
I would
of
not
thing.
want spaghetti with ketchup on it. That's
Yeah.
for sure. A little too much. So Malcolm is saying every live stream is different. They run how the host wants to. There is no best one. They are all good. Yeah,
Thanks,
I like
Malcolm. I agree.
Yeah. Which is fun.
We try to, so on these live streams, we try to, Derek and I like kind of brainstorm one general topic that we might open with, and especially talk through in the first hour. Our live streams typically last for around 2 to 3 hours. Right now we're on, I think, going into hour 3 at this point.
Hour 2.
No, because we start at 7, so it's 9:06.
Okay. Sure.
But we just like to talk to everybody as long as you guys want to talk to us, and we love interacting with everybody and just talking about travel. And this is our like highlight of our week, basically, where we get to talk to you all about whatever is the topic du jour. So.
Yeah, and I mean, for us, like travel is like pretty broad, right? So like, just saying like that we're going to talk about travel doesn't mean like Europe only or the U.S. and et cetera and stuff. And like today we went on like a massive tangent on like genealogy and like ancestry and stuff like that. It's like that's like pretty random. But it's like whatever you guys want to talk about.
And
you guys want to talk about,
wanted to talk about June travel. So for all of you folks who are still on now, I think many of you maybe weren't on when we were first talking about it when we first started a few hours ago. But we shared where we were looking at going mostly for day trips for us, since we're kind of still in a more closed state in June. But if you guys are in other places, like especially somebody like Malcolm, who, I mean, New Zealand is pretty open, at least within your own country and stuff right now. So let us know what you guys are thinking about for just exploring in June, whether it's a day trip, whether it's a weekend trip, or somewhere, even further away. So,
but it's not only that.
We want to hear. We're excited.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a June thing. If it's June, July, August, like whatever it is that you guys are doing next, like that you're looking forward to, it's like, what is it that you're like really excited to experience and like try and like we always like love to like travel the world. We love going to Europe. We love going to Asia. Like wherever we can like go and visit, we will do. And for us, we understand that means it's probably gonna be local travel, and we don't know if it's gonna be hyper local. Like it'll probably be here in June. July maybe we'll go a little bit further afield and whatnot, but we want to hear from you guys. So please just let us know what you guys are up to.
Yeah.
Actually, can we switch spots here?
Mm-hmm. No problem. You need... you just wanted this drink. Ow.
Dang.
That was loud.
Actually, I've got to run to the restroom, but...
Oh, okay.
Also, I wanted a drink.
Cool. Yeah, so let us know if you guys are traveling. What we were talking about at the beginning of the live stream is we're looking at going on a couple days trip next week. So we live in the state of Illinois. in the U.S. We live in Chicago, which is like the biggest city in the state. And there's a few really cool spots outside of the city that kind of will get us out of, into nature a little bit more. One of the spots that I'm super looking forward to is called Fullersburg Woods, and within Fullersburg Woods there's a museum called Growy Mill that talks about like how the mill used to run in the 1800s, and also has a portion of it that talks about its involvement in the Underground Railroad. And then we also are looking at going next week to Starved Rock State Park. And that is right along the Illinois River, about 2.5 hours from Chicago. And so it's definitely a day trip. Like, you have to devote your time. But there's waterfalls there and canyons, and it should be a really pretty adventure. Derek's never been. I've only been once, so it'll be cool. So let's see what you guys have to say. Travel Best Destinations, I'm so sorry if I missed you already, but thank you guys so much for joining. It's always fun to have you on, and hope you have a great night, and talk to you soon. To Travel and Tour. Okay, so Nader, I believe you said that you're in Florida too, so sorry if I misremember that. I thought you were in Alabama, but so sorry. It sounds like you're in Florida. Okay. Megan says, but you have to admit that Kim and Neil and Eliz and Derek are at the top. Both are so entertaining and engaging to everyone in the chat. Thank you, Megan. You're so sweet. We loved attending Kim and Neil's as well. So we try to jump on it like as much as we can for theirs too. It's so great to be able to support each other with To Travel and Tour in this channel.
Yeah. And, To Travel and Tour and Walter's World, and, there's a lot of people that we, love, and really support here on the channel. So really appreciate you guys being with us. Bonnie is asking a question, which is, are there any hand signals that are offensive for anyone on here? Just wondering, since I gave a thumbs up and don't want to offend anyone.
Actually, I think there is like some culture that thumbs up is bad, and I've definitely given a thumbs up on this live chat before too.
To us though, thumbs up are good. We like that.
Yeah.
Big fan.
In the U.S., giving a middle finger is bad.
Which I think is the same in Canada.
I think it is. Yes.
I think so.
Sorry if I've offended anybody from any other hand signals that I might have made. And if you're still on, thank you for staying on. All right,
so Travel Best Destinations took off. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah,
thanks for coming. Nader1, couch surfing is a travel community. Basically, locals host the world into the city, and we throw a big party.
That's so cool.
I'd go to
Yeah, that would be a little bit challenging during like a pre-vaccine era.
Yeah, that's hard.
So I'm curious how that nets out. I'd love to talk with you again, either on Walter's World or on here. So let us know, like, as that develops, what happens. At the beginning of this live stream, we had Darian on, who's in Georgia, and then also our friends Brian and Stephanie Burkhammer, who I don't think are still on, but they're in Atlanta too. So I think we might be able to hear about whether or not that comes to fruition.
Megan Morris is telling us that thumbs up in Greece is a no-no.
Eek.
So that's good to know. I did not know that.
Sorry, Nick D.
Thanks, Megan.
Oh, no, it was Nick Barnett's, I think, sorry. Nick D, I believe, was saying that he's German background, and Nick Barnett's, I think, is the Greek background.
Yeah. So, wait, where are we? So, Malcolm Hogan, I've been on a few of them, and which ones do I come back to? Eliz and Derek, Neil and Kim. Malcolm, thanks for coming back. We really appreciate
you. Thank you,
Malcolm. Nader1 is saying hiking, partying, food, sharing, all of the above.
That actually sounds really fun.
Yeah,
can we go? When is it?
I would do all those.
Nader, when is this? When do we get to go?
Yeah.
We want to go visit our friends Brian and Stephanie in Atlanta as soon as possible, but like when it's safe. Because right now, like we were saying, in Chicago, we like still aren't encouraged to travel. So we're playing it safe in that way.
Yeah. So Darian Germany Travel Personal Guide is saying that his family and him are going to spend 3 days in Daytona Beach next week. And they love the beach, which is nice. My family, that was always our vacation for like spring break and whatnot, was always going to the beach, Daytona. Not so much Daytona, it was more Miami.
Yeah.
We went to Miami a lot, or at least like just outside of Miami. And that's still kind of a special place I love going to, and like spending time on the beach.
They have such a cool spot in Miami that they found. It's like North Miami Beach, Surfside area.
Yeah, it's
beautiful,
really cool.
Beautiful spot.
Yeah. So Malcolm Hogan is saying, I just want to get on an aircraft in June. And I want to get on the aircraft in June next year to Tallinn specifically.
To Tallinn, Estonia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really
I
cool.
think we were talking about the Balkans and stuff before on one of the other live chats with him.
Yeah, so Nader is asking, where are you guys based? So we, specifically, the two of us, we're in Chicago.
Yeah.
So we're in Chicago, Illinois, in the United States. Kind of in the city, so...
Yeah. Definitely in the city.
All right, we just got like a...
We're not downtown, just to be clear. We're in like a more neighborhoody spot, but we're in the city of Chicago.
Yeah. So Nick D is like laying down the history. Ketchup, the name, comes from Malaysian fish sauce. Kicap, something like that. Over the years, the ingredients changed to be cheaper and tomato, and that's how we got to where we are today.
Wait, how did he know this? How did you know? You must have just looked it up, maybe? Or encyclopedic mind.
Nick D is actually part of the Heinz family. I don't know. Could be anything.
That would be pretty cool.
That'd be cool. I am a scion of the Heinz family, yes. To Travel Tour, Darian, you making a video about that? Yeah, that'd be cool. Darian, you should make a video, totally. Malcolm Hogan, what's the beer? Alright, so if you're talking about me, this is White Claw.
It's not beer.
It's not beer, it's a hard seltzer. And I think
this
somebody
was
actually
beer.
mentioned
You drank
that.
this too. I don't know if you was talking about that.
I did have Michelob Ultra. White Claw's nice. It's like a hard cider. It's very low carb. It's 2 net carbs.
It's not a hard cider. It's a hard seltzer.
Seltzer. That's right. Seltzer. It's fine. These are long streams, and I like to I constantly like to drink, so like I can't have like too hard of anything. If it's too high of alcohol concentration, I would be like passed out over here. So I've got to take it slow.
I just saw down there. So Nader's in West Palm. Nader, we actually go to West Palm.
I like West Palm. We like Singer Island.
Yeah, so we have a family friend who we go to his place on Singer Island. Mm-hmm. I would say like once every 2 years or so. So if we ever get to go out of the state again, we will let you know.
I feel like we might have talked about this, like Loggerhead. We might have talked about this.
Sanctuary.
Yeah, the Turtle Sanctuary and like Loggerhead, which is like right by like the West Palm area, is like very cool. Highly recommend it if you guys are around that area. They do great work. There's like a little gnat. It's really cool. So, Thomas Reiser, I'm chomping at the bit to travel.
Sorry, just to interrupt. I don't know if Niels and Kimberly are still on, but thank you guys for joining. And yes, you should definitely eat dinner because I think it's like 10 o'clock your time. So, cheers. Talk to you guys soon.
I feel like it's already... Is it Saturday yet? What day is it? I don't know.
I don't know.
Things are still flowing by like crazy. Like, I'm not...
It's like all over the place.
I'm still at this point where... like life tends to like go by at a pace that I'm not used to, and like today felt like a weekend, but it was not. So I don't know.
Megan says she's gonna go to the Turtle Sanctuary. Definitely go, because I think she was going down to Vero Beach with her family.
Oh yeah, no, that's super cool. And what I like about that is like you go, you pay the fee, and you know that it's going to like support a cause that you like care about and you feel good about. And that's one of the things about like, so like I know Mark and Jocelyn went to like Rwanda and whatnot, and if you go up and you do the mountain gorillas and you go see the mountain gorillas, it's super expensive. It's a lot of money, but at least that the money that you're paying into the system is actually going to like help protect the gorillas and the species and whatnot, and that's to me is like something that's like really special. it means a lot, and it's like money well spent. And I think that makes it worth it. Whether it's that or if it's like, going and like seeing a place like the Turtle Sanctuary where they are hoping to, keep the species going and protect the eggs and the nesting grounds and all that.
We're definitely like, we love animals, we love conservation efforts, and we just love supporting planet Earth. So, you're gonna hear us really give you guys big hoorays for any support that you guys find for those types of endeavors.
Vega Bonnie said that the peace sign can be offensive in some communities. I think that is actually true.
Oh no, I definitely used that in one of my YouTube
thumbnails. Oh no.
Whoopsies.
Oh, no. Okay. Okay.
I think it was on.
All right, so Thomas Reiser. This is where you interrupted me. Thomas Reiser. I am chomping at the bit to travel, and I'm annoyed with my sister as she won't focus on it and is trying to hold me back. Okay. So Thomas, I know that you've been doing some stuff with like your health, and so we hope that you're staying healthy and focusing on that. But to the extent that you're,
I think he's fit as a fiddle for traveling.
Yeah, but to the extent that you're like, you feel good about travel and you're ready to go and do it and everything, and you're following whatever your doctors are saying and whatnot, I think that going and doing you is important, and it's about what you're comfortable with and trying to. Yeah, there's like a little
this
one
gnat is
one
like,
little gnat that just keeps.
There it is. Sorry.
I'm gonna destroy the computer.
Okay,
but it's important that you're comfortable with what you're doing. So like as long as you're comfortable, you do you. So.
Yeah, but we're chomping at the bit to travel too. We are right there with you. I was actually just saying today to Eric, like, I would love to be able to go to London or Paris right now. It's something that I feel like I get to go there at least once a year usually, and I don't know if I'm gonna go.
Yeah. So Nader. Okay. So Nader1 says, I thought you were in Germany based on the name. Love going to Three Sisters Springs and swimming with the manatees. That's really cool. Megan Morris, thumbs up in Greece is a no. Okay, yep. Thomas Reiser, go it alone. Don't let someone hold you back from travel. I agree. Darian.
Sims. Good point.
Darian's still here. Welcome, sir. Okay, so to travel on tour. Thank you for coming. We appreciate you. Malcolm, middle finger, same in New Zealand, and 2 fingers.
Nails towards the victim are not good. Okay, so it'd be like reverse peace sign.
That's okay. That's
no,
not
stop
good.
it! Don't offend him. We don't actually have that hand signal in the U.S. I don't think we have a meaning for that. So that's.
Does it matter which fingers? Like if you do like that versus that.
Can you stop with the offensive fingers towards Malcolm?
I'm trying to learn. Guys, I'm sorry. I've had a lot to drink, but I appreciate you having patience with me.
This is going to be on the internet. You need to.
Guys, I can no longer run for office.
Jeez Louise.
Clear. Okay, so can we all talk about the conspiracy theories that were spread about me on the Walter's World live stream?
Okay.
I am not in the CIA.
I think
I'm not a
Megan
vampire.
might be to blame.
I don't know. I just.
Also, Mark Walters.
Mark Walters is to blame. Love you, Mark. All right, so Kimberly called him to dinner. Okay, so Katie Smith. Can't wait to travel again. Trying to reschedule a Puerto Rico trip with my family and Nola in the fall.
That'll be so fun.
That's really cool. That's actually really cool. I really want to go to Puerto Rico.
I hope New Orleans. I haven't been monitoring their numbers lately. I know that there was a bit of a spike a little bit ago, but I'm hoping that they've got it under control.
Yeah. So New Orleans would be really cool. I really want to go for the beignets, primarily. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's like my number one thing to do there.
I don't think Eric Brown's on anymore, too. He's in Louisiana. He's not in New Orleans. I think he's in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, he's in Baton Rouge.
but I've been talking to him about visiting Louisiana generally.
Yeah. I just want shrimp po' boys. I want like beignets. I want all the good food. Like, it sounds awesome. So, always good.
Yeah.
So, okay, Bonnie, peace sign is offensive. Don't do that. Malcolm, the other time you had was better for me. 4 a.m. start. This one is 12 noon Friday, so you can only get on a light work day.
Oh, man. Well, glad to hear that you're having a light work day. Kudos to that. That's awesome. But thank you so much for joining. The 4 a.m. start, that was on Sundays, I think, for when we did 11 a.m. here.
So Monday mornings.
Yeah, Monday morning, 4 a.m. Man, the fact that you were even getting up at 4 a.m., Malcolm,
we really appreciate it.
Yeah.
But from the bottom of our hearts.
It was so cool because the Sunday ones, we do miss doing the Sunday morning ones because I felt like those were able to get a lot more people from around the world, especially from Europe. So because it was like afternoon time in Europe, that time we were able to get a lot more of those. And even just having you join from New Zealand was like icing on the cake. So what's just tricky is that I feel so many people are like actually out and doing things on the weekends now that maybe we'll try to figure out another time that can work.
Maybe we can figure out a way to do like every other or something like that, whereas like every other week we do like this time versus like
oh yeah,
like try
let us know what you guys are
differentiate
interested in. Maybe we'll do a poll on like my Facebook or something like that too. Because if you want a different time, we can try to figure out what could work. No, I'm okay. I'll just drink my tea. But I think, right now we have a pretty good group going for Thursday nights, so we've been keeping that, that fire alive. And if you guys want other times though too, we can figure out what works within our schedule and go from there.
Yeah.
Look out for that.
Yeah, so Mark Finley is saying that no June travel, even though 2 weeks from now is his 25th anniversary.
And happy 25th to you and Terry in advance.
That's very cool.
I know that you guys are planning an epic road trip though, so it sounds like you guys have a pretty good way to celebrate in July.
But it sounds to me like Mark is planning like 5 road trips. So we don't know. We don't know which one he's going to take.
He's got contingency plans because
he's got plans on plans on plans. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very cool. So Darian is saying that he knows Surfside in Miami.
Yeah.
Very well.
Very well. That's great. So we haven't actually been in a couple of years, but Darlene and Eric went last year before.
Something like that. Yeah. So Malcolm, Baltics in Estonia area, Balkans in Southern Europe. Yes. I feel like I might have missed something, but yeah, the Baltic is up here in the Balkans.
I might have said Balkans when they were talking about Tallinn, because I'm tipsy.
Baltic, yes. The Baltic Sea versus the Balkans.
If I said that wrong, I am so sorry.
Greece and whatnot.
Yes. Yeah. Baltics is Tallinn.
Lori Sims, good for you. Congrats on your 25th. Yeah, that's very, great achievement. Congrats to you and Terry on your 25th. That's very cool. Megan Morris, so far my only summer plans are family vacay in Vero Beach, Florida in July, which we were talking about. Not crowded and easy to social distance, but so wish I could go abroad instead. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, we all wish we could be abroad right now. It'd be really great. Nader is saying, come to West Palm. I can show you some snorkeling spots. Love the smaller crowds compared to Miami. That's really cool. I would love to go and do some snorkeling. We were actually talking about, so we were thinking about doing...
We did a paragliding thing in West Palm, but not snorkeling.
Yeah, it's pretty different.
Yeah.
So one's underwater, one's not.
Yeah. They're both around water.
Yeah. There's a boat involved. No,
yeah.
So we were looking at doing Australia. And when we were looking at doing Australia, I had asked if we should do, should we get, certified for scuba? And because the whole idea there is that if you go to Australia, you might want to, dive at, the Great Barrier Reef and whatnot. That's, a thing to do.
Yeah.
And we kind of decided not to do it, and we actually ultimately decided not to do Australia as well.
Well, it's not that we decided; it's that we were gonna go in like April.
But it was we had kind of decided not to do Australia in advance, but
sort of.
But then it got decided for us, so.
Yeah, there was a new route that was opening up on Qantas that was direct from Chicago to Brisbane. And so we were like very eager to try to get on that plane, like that flight. But
so Darren
I'm pretty sure that's postponed at this point.
Yeah, so Darren is telling Nader that he loves swimming with the manatees, and he actually takes folks on a manatee tour as well.
Oh, that's so
really
cool.
And Nader is saying that he lives 30 minutes away from the swamp. I love swimming at the beach near Loggerhead. Went yesterday, actually.
That's cool.
That's really neat.
I think Loggerhead's in Jupiter, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe. But Bonnie is saying low alcohol equals sustainable drinking. I like it, yes. Thomas Reiser, I took Tri-Tail and Brightline between West Palm Beach and Miami.
It's Juno Beach, actually.
Juno, okay. There we go. Darian is saying, very cool. Do you live off the Highway 19? And Nader's mom lives up by Vero Beach, which is very beautiful. So Nick Peterson, have you guys ever done the gangster bus tour in Chicago? I loved it. They dressed up as gangsters and portray like it's the heyday of Chicago gangster life. Best tour ever.
Didn't even know it existed. I feel like you would love that tour.
Well, I know that there's like gangster tours all through Chicago. I mean, it's obviously, you think of like Chicago and it's like mafia is kind of goes hand in hand. Yeah. Al Capone was like the big hair, and you had like the whole like Chicago outfit and all that kind of stuff, right? So it was like Prohibition here was like the heyday of the Chicago gangster, like Dillinger and like
ago.
All these. God, is that long now? Yeah, I guess about 100 years.
The Roaring 20s.
The Roaring 20s. Flappers and gangsters.
Anyway, so yes, we have not done that tour. That sounds really cool, actually. I think I would do that. So Nick says that they dressed up as gangsters, too. That'd be pretty neat.
Yeah. I hear fireworks outside. That's interesting. So Nader is saying...
we've had fireworks. So Illinois fireworks are not legal, and we've heard fireworks like every other night here. So people are just celebrating summer.
Yeah, so Nader is saying something about... something about there's a gator in his backyard. I'm not sure what that means exactly. Alligator? Maybe.
That's what
Georgia
is.
fans? Gators?
No. The Gators are
Florida? Is that Florida?
Yeah, Georgia's Bulldogs.
Bulldogs. I don't know. It always confuses me. Nader, though, is saying, I listened to the Tri-Rail project come together in my office working from the city of West Palm at the time. That's very cool.
That's cool.
So Germany, so Darian is saying, I know Crystal River.
So West Palm is where the train goes down from New York City, I think, and they created a really long Amtrak line that went all the way down in order to go to that hotel. What's that hotel called?
I don't know, but Breakers?
Oh yeah, the Breakers.
Read my dad's thing.
Derek, don't we controller the net? Yeah. Yeah. Don't do that.
So my dad says, Derek, don't we controller the Nat and pay back Eliz? And what that's referring to is when we were freshmen in college, she came back with me to visit my family, and we played Wii tennis.
That's how old we are. We're talking about Nintendo Wii.
And this girl right here was a varsity tennis player back in high school. And she was really getting into it. Like stances and like forehand, backhand,
also,
and all
important
that kind of stuff.
Point. Because this is actually an important point. I'm right-handed and Derek is left-handed. So playing tennis, we were on the wrong side of each other.
I beat her and I was like, I was barely like moving. I was like flicking my wrists and stuff, and she was getting upset, and she did like whole backhand, and she just like slapped me in the face. She looks cute, but she has a darkness.
And now we're married. But to be clear, it happened in front of his entire family.
They thought it was hilarious. They thought it was pretty funny. They still bring it up today, like my dad just did.
The gnat is still alive. Somewhere.
The gnat. Alright, so let's keep going. So, Nader is saying, Singer Island was my favorite for a long time, but Juneau kind of grew on me. Just be aware that Singer Island isn't the best area crime-wise, at least across the river. Check out Phil Foster to snork.
Snorkel.
Oh, snorkel.
To snork.
To snork. I don't know.
That's fun.
It was highlighted. I didn't see the L.
I know.
Snorkel. Okay. And then, let's see, Malcolm is saying, I get up early on most days, so 4 a.m. was not too bad.
Wow.
Dang.
Bravo, sir.
And he's saying, Eliz and Derek, do what suits you because you are the hosts. Thank you for the understanding. But we also want to make sure that, like, we can, make sure that people that we really enjoy interacting with, like you, Malcolm,
maybe
can
like
join
once
us.
a month we could do a morning one, so that way we could include more people, and then just keep the Thursday ones going. Because I feel like the Thursday ones, I like having that routine. Maybe we'll add something else though.
We'll figure it out. So Megan Morris is saying, awesome, so jealous that you just easily drive. I have to fly to Orlando, West Palm, Melbourne, from here in Kentucky, or drive 13 hours. Yeah,
if
13
it was
hours.
Australia, I think we'd have to say Melbourne.
Melbourne. I don't know. And, flying multiple hours, like, from an airport would be pretty bad. That's kind of like where we would say, like, maybe not. But if you're only driving, like, I can, like, see, I can understand doing, like, a longer drive, but...
Nader, I totally agree, though, you saying that his mom's frustration is the 2-hour drive from the airport. I mean, especially if you've just kind of had a really long travel day, the last thing you want to do is get in the car and drive. So that can be really tricky depending on where you live, but...
Mark Finley is saying it's not 5 road trips, it's 5 different options depending on factors.
Yeah. Like I said, he's a smart man. He's got contingency plans.
No, and I know, Mark, I get it. I'm joking with you. Obviously, you're not doing 5 different road trips. But yeah, contingency plans like today, super important because you never know. Like, a state might shut down all of a sudden. Depending on where like COVID is going and what's happening with the caseload. Somebody might say, we're gonna shut everything down, and then like you might get stuck. And that's not great. Ryan Donahue is saying the scuba's great, though. And Ryan Donahue, you're in Boston. So I know people that got scuba certified in Boston in the wintertime, and that's cold. So I don't know.
Was it in a indoor pool that they did?
No, it was in the river.
What?
Yeah.
Who are those people?
One of my bosses.
Oh, wow.
He went to Harvard, so who cares? Take the cold. But yeah, no, it's scuba's really cool. I've never actually done scuba. I've done a little bit of snorkel, but not much. I'd love to do it though. So
yeah, we're a little behind again.
Oh no. Okay, so.
Oh, and Megan Morris, thank you for. It looked like maybe we had a troll, so thank you so much for taking care of that.
Thank you. So let's see here. Something about Cuban food. What happened to the Cuban food?
You're not highlighting. Plans for next year at present are Estonia. What's AUT?
I don't know. Hungary,
Croatia,
Italy,
Switzerland. What's LAC?
I don't know.
About a month away. We might have either different abbreviations than you, or maybe Derek and I are too tipsy to read them. But I'm assuming that's all Europe, so that'd be cool. Malcolm says, can't do Australia without visiting Melbourne. No, me in New Zealand. I was trying to figure out your abbreviation, and then I realized it was just me.
All right, so real quick, Germany. So Darian, I think you might have been accidentally censored on here. Go Gators is fine. We're not going to censor you for that. But yeah. Okay.
Thank you to all of the moderators.
But thank you
by
for the moderators for
Megan
helping us out
Morris,
here.
Malcolm, and yeah, we'll get Darian back. I don't know.
Yeah.
What's going on? We're a little bit behind. We're trying to figure out what just happened.
So Megan Morris, Derek and Eliz, fireworks are Liam and Caleb staying at your home? No, they're not.
Oh, do they do fireworks too? I don't remember that reference.
So one of the things around here, at least, is that occasionally fireworks might be shot around like protests and stuff like that. We think it might be something along the lines of like confusing.
I don't think that's
people.
what's been happening in our neighborhood though, because we haven't had those in a little while.
Yeah, no, they haven't.
I think it's just people being
summery. So we don't know, but yeah. So Malcolm is saying can't do Australia without visiting me in New Zealand.
I know, I misread it.
Gotta go to Christchurch.
We definitely want to go to New Zealand. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, totally. I want to do the Hobbit.
I feel like New Zealand's
stuff.
a whole separate trip for us. Like we want to go everywhere there. Like we need minimum 2 weeks to see everything we want to see in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Including Malcolm Hogan.
So Thomas Reiser is saying there are direct O'Hare to Auckland flights on Air New Zealand.
Yes. Our friends just did that for their honeymoon.
And Malcolm is saying not at present because Air New Zealand is broke. Interesting. So Nader1 is saying building my couch surfing network so I can travel and stay with friends for free. Those are my travel plans.
Nice.
That's really cool.
I think Airbnb kind of started as like a couch surfing situation too.
Well, we sat next to the guy who helped found, like, he was like
the inspiration.
He's
for
the
Airbnb,
inspiration behind
He was couch
Airbnb.
surfing at different people's houses. Yeah.
Yeah, we were actually at a wedding last year, end of last year, and we sat next to a guy who was the inspiration behind the guy who founded Airbnb.
And of course, he didn't have any stake in the company though.
Oh, that was so sad. But
So
he did this whole like couch surfing thing like across the country, across the U.S. And one of the guys that he stayed with actually ended up founding Airbnb, like
as a
based on
result
it.
of being like, oh, this is such a great business model.
Yeah, it was very interesting. And we're like, you're the most interesting person ever, but like, damn, that sucks.
Yeah.
Get some stock.
Malcolm's asking,
Nader,
what sport do Gators play? I think they play all the sports. Alligator goes between our yard and the neighbor's yard. Eek.
I wouldn't want to pet gator personally, but that's just me.
We're like such northern people in that regard. Like I've never seen an alligator in the wild ever. That is such a zoo only situation for me. I think I would be freaked. Like I freak out at a spider. Like if I saw an alligator in my yard, game over. Nick D says, "Who is your main in Mario Kart?" To Luigi. Thanks for trolling the troll. Really respect you, Nick D.
That's pretty funny.
Oh man. Mine was the princess because that was the only girl.
So Ryan Donahue is saying, you had to be in open water to get your actual certification. My first open water dive was in 56 degree Fahrenheit water in a wetsuit. I also have the dry suit certification, but I haven't used one other the class. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd love to do the whole like scuba certification, do all the classes and everything, because I just think it opens up a lot of opportunities when you travel and like a lot of different things that you can like do, explore, and see, which is pretty cool. So
That would be like, I mean, you could add a lot to your trip if you can go underwater and see all that. That would be really cool.
yeah, so Malcolm is telling Thomas that sometimes he sleeps 2 to 3 hours some nights. That's dang,
Thomas
dude.
is saying he sleeps a lot. And Thomas,
Sleep's important.
Yeah, and especially for what you're saying, you're battling. We have family members who are, have battled that too, and sending you all the positive vibes on that. It's tricky.
Yeah. Malcolm is saying Liechtenstein and Austria. I don't know that.
Oh, that's
I'm not
what
sure
he was
that's
saying
a
the
response.
abbreviations were.
Ah, okay. I'd go to both those places.
Yeah, for sure.
Liechtenstein and Austria.
Liechtenstein, I hear, is really expensive too. That's like another one that's like kind of like Iceland, where you just have to expect to spend a shnikey ton of money.
Yeah. Crazy. All right. What else we got?
Ryan Donahue says you have to be in open water to get.
We already did that.
Oh.
I'm skipping D's thing. Thomas Reiser, Gators is the athletic team in the University of Florida. All right, Darlene Zacarias, Mama, is saying, good night, everyone. It's past our bedtime.
Good night, Darlene.
Good night, Darlene.
Have
Good
a
night. I assume
Darlene's
Dad-
birthday was on the
Wednesday.
10th. So, was that yesterday? Was today? Gosh.
Wednesday.
That was yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday.
So she hopefully had a great birthday.
Hope so. She talked to us, so it must have been amazing.
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely had a great birthday because we talked to her.
All right, so Darren is saying, I swim right next to gators all the time in Florida. I don't look for them, but it's their house, and if one is nearby, I just pray. Dang.
Yeah, Katie Smith, I am with you. That would scare me to death too. Like, those things are like prehistoric predators.
No, I wouldn't do
okay?
that.
They've been around for a long time because they can survive.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. Eek.
Yeah. Katie Smith, I also love our travel chat. It's very cool.
Me too.
Megan Morris, sorry again for the timeout. Was an accident. I totally support you and your channel. To Darian, yes. Ryan Donahue, if you're going to do scuba, get certified locally. That way you can travel. That way you travel, you can just go diving instead of having to do another class. Very cool. Malcolm, LEC would be a day trip from Zurich.
There's really no snakes in New Zealand.
Wait, what?
So, Malcolm's saying they don't have gators, crocs, or snakes. I didn't realize there's not even snakes. What
Wow.
predators do you have in New Zealand? Like, what are, like, the scary things that we should all
I was
know
gonna say,
about?
everybody knows that, like, everything in
Like, Australia is everything's
yeah,
scary, right?
Yeah, everybody knows that Australia, like, everything's trying to kill you.
Yeah.
Does New Zealand have that? Or is New Zealand like, yeah, everything's in Australia and we're cool?
We sent all the snakes over there.
Because
so.
that would be really interesting to know. So Nader is saying, honestly, gators are the grumpy grandpa. As long as they don't have babies, they just swim away. The most dangerous gator is a baby gator. Mama is bigger than the 4 to 5 foot in her yard.
Oh my god.
Interesting.
Yikes.
And I agree with Katie, gators scare me to death.
Also, Mark Finley, thank you for that. Guess what Terry's drinking? Here's a hint. It includes chocolate milk and Bailey's. Yeah, Terry.
Very nice.
We have to like go out and buy Hershey syrup so we can try this. Also, there's an almond milk Bailey's out there for those of us who are lactose intolerant, and it's pretty good too. So.
Interesting. Luigi Kart officials in Rommel's TV. I'm traveling to Russia. I'm going out now. And he has depression.
Okay.
Have a good day and enjoy Russia. Malcolm is saying we only have one spider that can hurt you, nothing else.
Wow, that's actually
New Zealand.
that's
Who
a
knew?
little bit-
It's so awesome.
That's a little bit similar to the Chicago area. Like, we don't have that
All
many.
right, Chicago and New Zealand are not that similar.
In terms of like number of predators that can kill humans, like there's really not, like we don't have bears, we don't have crocodiles.
That's true, but we also don't have
poisonous
hobbit
snakes.
houses.
No, New Zealand in terms of aesthetics,
So pretty.
top notch compared to Chicago. Like not even on the same playing field, but like they're not comparable. But in terms of, I think, like number of things that can kill you, it's probably like maybe out in the suburbs and out in like other parts of Illinois might have like those black recluse spiders or something like that. But
Malcolm is saying that Chicago and New Zealand are both windy. There we go.
So
definitely
fun
down by
fact
you,
about
right?
Chicago,
Down by Christchurch is supposed to be like super windy.
It can be windy right off of Lake Michigan, but the Windy City is actually about our politicians and how they can be very long-winded when they speak.
Full of hot air.
Yeah, full of hot air.
Say. So, okay, so, yes, okay, so chocolate milk and Bailey's, very nice. So Megan is saying, went to Liechtenstein, no need to go for more than a day. Worth it to get the novelty passport stamp in the visitor's office. Even more expensive than Switzerland, which Switzerland's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
So that's saying something.
But you gotta go just to get that passport stamp. I'm with you there.
Malcolm, Aussies are the only predators. JK. That's pretty funny.
Nice.
That's really funny. Okay. So Darren is saying that his family's playing board games. That's pretty cool. Yeah. So we gotta go to New Zealand. Nothing can hurt us there, except for a spider.
It sounds like Australia somehow got all the bad, scary things, and New Zealand is just like a paradise. Yeah,
Nader's saying you grew up in Michigan, you get used to wildlife being somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Malcolm is saying that Wellington...
Nader, I think you missed most of the conversation about Michigan, but we were talking about Michigan a lot earlier.
Yes, Wellington, New Zealand is their version of the Windy City.
In terms of politicians or win?
I don't know. But I will say, it's getting kind of late.
Yeah.
And I think we're winding up a little bit here. We've caught up on everybody.
Especially tonight. I think this was only like our second time ever having trolls, so I just want to say a special shout out to all of the amazing moderators: Megan Morris, Katie Smith, Malcolm Hogan, I think Mark Finley. And sorry if I missed anybody, but thank you guys so much for helping us out and keeping this chat really positive and fun. Like we always say, these chats we look forward to every single week. We are so grateful to have built this community with you guys and be able to talk to you all as friends every week about travel. So we're just as excited, I guess, to go on camera and see you guys as anything. So
it's fun. It's fun to hang out, right? Like we actually look forward to this every week. Like this is like a thing that we are like, what are we gonna talk about? Like, let's go have fun. Like,
and if you guys have any topics that you think would be really cool too, just send them to us. We can all make it a thing. But we hope that you guys like the topics that we have chosen. And if you are going anywhere in June, even if it's just day trips like we're kind of planning, have a great time and share them with us. We want to hear what everybody's up to and what everybody's planning for past June. Yeah,
real quick before people take off though, Thomas Reiser is saying he has a 5:30 wake up call for surgery tomorrow.
Oh, right, Thomas, you have surgery tomorrow. We are thinking of you.
Best of luck to you, and we're sending positive thoughts, vibes, everything towards you and your family. So
yeah, and let us know how it goes too. I know we're connected on a lot of the social channels, so hopefully we can connect after that. And we're going to be thinking of you tomorrow.
Yeah. So everybody have a great evening, and we appreciate you spending your time with us. We really appreciate it. We know that you could be doing a lot of stuff with your time, and it means a lot that you're here with us. So
yeah, definitely. All right, take care, everybody. Have a great night. Cheers. Bye.